unfortunate to meet a couple of liars, not even relationship based, like generally.
And people lie because they want to get married.
When they lie, there are some lies they tell you that you really wouldn't. Especially when this person took you to Obasanjo, you understand, and then you met the man, you get, so, and then he tells you all these stories, and they seem to add up.
Yes.
But then
if
she
I
said
take
something.
you to my father, would you know if I am introducing you to my father? But if I take you to a family friend who is very close and is very elderly, would you be able to tell the difference between my father and my family friend? Would you?
I should be able to tell the difference, but in this situation, she actually said it straight up that they saw him, you get, but there was no. There are different kinds of people, you know. There are some people that will hug you, you know, welcome you. There are some people that they are straight up, you know, hi, what's up, what's going on, and then they are good, you get. So it's difficult, and she's never met Obasanjo for real, like she's never been close to him, so she wouldn't be able to know. But she said something very profound. She said she was already pregnant. When so there was little she could do. So
she accepted the lie.
She accepted the thing she heard, saying, you know what, he can't be the devil, you know, understand? I'm expecting. He begged me to keep this pregnancy. He wants me in his life. He gets so. She was so sure that everything was okay.
So all of the red flags that were waving at her, she decided to let go because of the pregnancy.
And then being Obasanjo's son, and then you were living with a man who is Obasanjo's son, the former president of Nigeria, one of the major political icons, and you were paying the bills, and you were living in a rented apartment. I mean, those are not
she didn't know the apartment was rented because
until later.
So much. So people need to tune in to watch by 11:30 know what she said, and maybe defend her if you want to and answer your first question. But I think we'll have to have this conversation on afternoon tea time.
Okay.
When everybody has seen the full interview, and then Bukky won't have to be defending.
All right, guys.
She did a good job already to give us the exclusive.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. We're going on a quick break. When we return, we'll be bringing you all of the latest entertainment news. Don't miss it.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time, and we're about to bring you the main entertainment stories this morning. And we're starting with Toke Makinwa, who calls out Bovi over a joke about her body parts. Okay, so Elsie, you want to go first? Okay, Ife.
First of all, Toke Makinwa, being an entertainer, being in the industry, should know that these comedians make jokes about very prominent people such as the president. Like, I even want to share a joke Bovi said recently.
Okay.
He said Obasanjo came I said Obasanjo because it's Toto DK. He said Buhari, with his last visit to Lagos, he was in traffic for over 2 hours, and then the man did not even know when he said, "Oh my God, what type of country is this?"
Oops.
Do you understand? That was something Bovi said about the president. Now, you're comparing yourself to other people that these people make. They even make jokes about people sitting in the crowd. So if he's talking about your implants and whether he has a problem with it, it's just a joke. The same way you guys were trying to defend the fact that Chris Rock was making a joke about Whitney Houston, and then they should know that it's just a joke. So I think it's just a joke, and then she went overboard. But a lot of people are saying, "Oh man, this is just publicity stuff. We know you guys are friends," because Bovi and Toke, they're actually friends.
Yeah,
so.
because she actually posted another picture after she did this one recently, saying she doesn't know how to tell a joke. So obviously, I think it was a joke because she posted the picture of her.
So I think it was basically a joke, and then they were just trying to just, like people should go and watch the Bovi Man on Fire. It was, to me, it was just all business strategy. So, but if she was serious about this, then maybe she needs to work out sense of humor.
Okay, yes, I think. All right, Elsie, on that note, what do you have to say?
I know they are cool, she and Bovi, but I don't know how cool. Yeah, I mean, all these people, once you have, in fact, if you get to a point where you get like 500 followers, they all want to follow you and you're cool like that, like the industry kind of being cool. So I don't know if their coolness goes deeper than work and entertainment, right? And if, I don't think this was a joke. Maybe she got in her feelings for a minute, then put that out, and then she realized, okay, I shouldn't have done this, and then she tried to make a joke out of it.
Well, it reached out to her.
Yeah, because that was really overboard, and she was saying he wasn't funny, and I love that so many people came out to say that, I mean, Bovi is really funny. You cannot come out to say he's not. And talking about her backside, I have not heard the joke. I wasn't in the event where this joke was said. I've asked to see the clip, but I think the clip is not out yet.
Yeah, that's
I don't think
part of
there's
the
anything. I don't think there's anything he would say that most of us did not see.
Okay.
So I think she should just be comfortable.
But she
with
said,
it.
well, I like the fact that she's still supporting
because she's saying
that he got it right the first time.
He did not get it right the first time.
How
babe.
do you
know? I don't understand. If you see it, she was. I mean, when
she
we
was
were looking at pictures, when we were looking at pictures,
I think
it was different. I'm not talking about picture. No, we saw her live on stage, and was it? What was the show again? An event, was it MBGN or something, where she co-hosted with IK?
Okay, IK.
Right, so
yes,
that was where everybody knew that, okay, this was not just picture, that there was
But I'm not going to lie to you, I was at the Sun Man of the Year, and when I saw Toke, she was
now, she has, the doctor has become a G, so
guys,
give it to the doctor.
let's leave it there. We need to move on to our next story. Yes, up for conversation right now, Fox renews Empire without Jussie Smollett's character. Okay, so I like the fact that they've kept the contract open, isn't it? So
just in case they need a black gay man.
No, I don't think so. I think they're waiting. They're probably waiting to see how things turn out. You know, because
they said we've been told that Jussie will not be on Empire in the beginning of the season, but he appreciates they have extended his contract to keep Jamal's future open.
So what they're doing is, I think they're keeping it open because, you know, these guys penned a letter, you know, saying that they want to keep him, blah, blah, blah. But I think they, on the other hand, don't want to yet completely agree. They're waiting to see how things develop. Yes. So they said, okay, in the beginning.
Waiting.
Sorry, what?
The cast are the ones waiting. According to Fox, which is in charge of Empire, left to them, without that open letter, they'll probably let Jamal
come back on.
Jussie go. They'll let him go.
That's what I'm saying. That's
so
what I'm saying.
I know. I'm saying they're opening this contract just to be diplomatic, so we don't look like.
No, I don't think it's diplomacy. I think, as I said, you know, that they're waiting to see how things develop. If things turn out to be very negative for Jussie, they're going to cancel him out. Did you guys see Donald Trump's backlash on Jussie recently? Yes, we talked about it.
Okay, I was absent, right?
It's not just about them being open for the sake of him, right? I think it's a case of how strong the character Jamal Lion is on Empire. I mean, if it was just a character that could easily be killed and nobody will figure it out, whether they pen 200 letters, nobody's going to care. They will really.
But you know what it means? That is like you're on probation. Like,
yeah,
okay, if we need you, we call you. Now, he doesn't have a steady job. As far as this is concerned, he doesn't have a steady job because, okay, your contract is open, but it doesn't mean that for the next 6 episodes we are going to use the Jamal Lion.
I have a strong feeling, maybe not in the first 6, probably the 7th, he's probably going to come back and he's going to.
He's lost a lot of money already, so what's the point?
For Empire.
Yeah, but he's lost a lot of money.
Let's see how this plays out.
And then he will be making more money for Empire instead, and he wouldn't be making a lot for himself.
If he is coming back on that show for any reason,
a lot of people will tune in.
For any reason, he will be paid. If he won't be paid,
yeah, he will be more.
Because trust me, this is going to be a case of. You've been watching all the episodes, you've missed, I mean, Jamal sings awesomely well, right? You've missed all that, and they tell you on season 7 he's coming back. Yeah. He knows what, if he really did this for clout, right? He knows what him coming back on that show will mean for the show, and trust me, he's going to.
And they also know.
All right, guys, we need to go on a break.
How this plays out. I'm not Fox, so I just want to enjoy the show.
Let's go on that break. Let's go on that break. When we come back, it'll be time for news on Soulja Boy and Two-Face. Keep it here.
That's the Brazilian who, with the longer blades that Oscar wasn't too impressed with. 200 meters, but we must stress, absolutely legal.
Sounds of the surf.
Yeah. Now that you either hate or I don't want no bad energy. Man get views by radar, but you can't see my energy.
And this time they are away, and Peacock goes away strongly.
She wants a man from London, she wants a fellow with felonies. That's probably my team. There's no I in it, I bring it on my team. That's when they saw my team. Even the bouncers bounce when they saw my team. You do wanna never know. Don't be a sheep when you can be bold. Great is a good time and you never know. Don't show up to my show.
This is
Got no
absolutely marvelous.
That is how we get looped into a cycle of insanity, repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. That cycle of failure is unsustainable and it has to end now.
Perfection Train is back.
They take us to the push and start asking us to call our people to send money.
What can be done as an intervention for them right now to stop abuse of all children?
Welcome back. We're swiftly moving on to our next story. Soulja Boy has been sent to jail for 240 days after violating probation. Okay, so let me come to you first, Ife.
Come on, man. You've been coming to me first, man.
No, I want Elsie to speak on the next story.
I don't like to come first. I like to come last, but let's come to me first now. So, like I was saying, why you guys?
I'm riding.
Get your minds out of the gutter, people.
Even much more funny. Oh, good heavens! All right, so Ife, without the play on words, what should we do to you first? Okay, go on.
Let me speak first. Okay, so Soulja Boy. I like the fact that he's managed to stay out of jail even with his previous crime records and all of that. But he's been able to stay out of jail. He's been doing probation, even at probation for 5 years. Like, who gets that's like a lot of privilege for you to get, and then you now abuse it. Do you understand? Now, you violated your probation by having. The whole thing started with you having a loaded firearm in a very public place. Do you understand? And then now they now found the firearm at your house again. So he's going to be going to jail for 240 days and 265 days of probation as well. So, but they are lenient in the sense that he's been in custody since April 11th. So they're going to subtract the 40 days which he has spent before his trial. So he's going to be spending like 200
20 or 2?
No, 200.
Just 200, yeah?
Yeah, they take it because it's 240 days, so it's taking just 200 days. And that's like how many months?
200.
Yeah.
200? I'm your calculator now.
No, but I think he's actually got 240 because they have taken all this you're saying in consideration already.
No,
so
they're removing
taking
the
all
40.
that is 240. It was supposed to be like 280 or so.
It was 240, then 265 days of probation, and they're taking out
check
the...
that again, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, Elsie, before we wrap up, what's your take on it? Do you think...
Have fun in jail.
Oops.
I mean, it's probably like a cool lifestyle for them now. So
I think it's going to get violated in jail, though.
You know, he had like an interview where he gave, I think early this year, where he talked about how he wanted to make a movie out of his life, create some good business and entrepreneurial move. But right now, all that has to be on hold, and we wish him well. And we'll wait to have you at the other side of next year.
Okay. All right, let's move on to our next
story
now.
Other side of next year, it will come on this year.
240 days.
Like 6 months now, or 7 months.
It's still next year.
It's not next year,
Like
it's the end of this year.
Anyway, we are not in jail together. I don't need to calculate it. It's fine, it'll be fine.
Oh, guys, I wanted us to move to our next story, but unfortunately we don't have time. So we're going to wrap things up here, right now. Join us this afternoon for the latest entertainment news. Until then, a big thank you to my co-anchors, Elsie and Ife, the entire production team as well, and our stylists, courtesy of Kudi's Empire and Liz Harrison, and of course, Buki November, who was here earlier on to talk about her interview with Tonto DK. I'm Tukumbo Tai. We're saying thanks for watching, and from all of us here, have a good morning.
Different faces, different head shapes, different personalities, different prices, and a lot more certainly inspires the various haircuts people settle for when they are at the barber's shop. One profound thing I noticed was how skeptical they are about who cuts their hair for fear of getting their preferred hairstyles wrong.
Barbing is all about who knows it, how experienced is the person, and how he can give you the haircut you want.
Over time, haircut styles have evolved from what was obtainable in the 80s and 90s. Very popular, however, was the Afro style. Now, we have style variations like short hair with cropped fringe, curly hair, dreadlocks, and a host of others. Some decide to color their hair as well. Obinna, a barber who resides in Lagos, transits from Ikorodu to VI, a 40.9 kilometers journey by bus daily, to give his customers their preferred haircut.
When I came back from school, I would go to our shop. He'll be teaching me how to barb skin or low cut or afro. So very soon I pick up. When I pick up, I came to Lagos. It took more than 50,000 naira to start a business, but I started buying creeper. When I bought creeper, I buy gen, I buy glass and some instruments. Then I started from road. The amount I charge depends on the style of the head. When I want to barb skin, I will collect 300 naira. If I want to barb afro, I will collect 400 naira. Then punk, the same thing is 400 naira. From the barbing, I pay my rent house. From the barbing, I send my children to school. From there, I even give my wife to cook some, to buy some cook item on it.
He spoke of the challenges he faces. One in particular was the extreme public disclosure of his outlet.
My customers, they don't like to where someone will be seeing them, but they'll be passing through. They like someone will be hiding, like the block shop. So they don't like any environment.
I also caught up with Kufre Nna, a barber in Lagos who operates on a much larger scale. He has been in the business for over 2 decades and has a staff strength of over 40 men and ladies.
I would say that it's my father who introduced me to the business, but he's not a barber. He wasn't a barber. He was just looking at a way he can make me to be a better person. I'm always saying this whenever I'm interviewed that a lot of barbers, they don't see themselves. They don't see barbing as something that it's like a profession. They don't see it like a profession. They can see it like something that can take them to the next level. They're always seeing it like something that, let me just manage it, just like a step-up stone for me. When it gets to there, maybe probably let me just be barbing for now, while still looking for either to travel out to do something else. So, but to me, I'm always seeing, okay, from day one, that this is what I want to do, or this is what I'm seeing myself, and I want to do this, I want to make it bigger, I want to make it different, I want to do it in such a way that no other person has done it before. I always believe that the work is not about the place, it's not about the beauty of the place. No matter how you set up a barber shop, no matter how you set up a salon, bring equipment from anywhere. If you don't have good workers, it's a mess. That's to me, that's my belief. I do not attend any business school, but you know, if you have a good business and that is growing well, you must seek for advice from people. So I'm not just doing a lot of things myself, because I attend to a lot of top people and people that are business owners. So I'm always seeking advice from them. Some things I don't know, I used to discuss with them. So they'll put me through. Then I now know the best people to work with. Then I now choose them. My challenge, you know, it's not easy working with guys. So that's number one. That's the first thing I will first say. It's not easy working with guys. And if you look at my line of business, it involves working with a lot of guys, not just guys, guys from different locations, different areas, different states. So they are bringing all the different attitude, behavior. So I would say that's one of my biggest challenge. I would say to the aspiring barber and whosoever want to get to where I am or even beyond, that first of all, always believe in yourself. Always take everything you are doing very serious. Don't look down on anything in this life. There's no handwork. There's nothing in this life that cannot take you to beyond your limits.
Same line of business, same services rendered, however, different outcomes. Obviously, a lot needs to be done to empower small-scale business owners like Obinna, who someday hopes to expand to an even larger scale like Kufri. Irene Ubani, Plus TV Africa.
Very glad you could join us today on the program. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, and the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry disagrees with Governor Yeri of the least viable state and lowest IGR, Governor Yeri, on the looming recession predicted. Joining me is Najib Bello, a political analyst, and of course, Martins Lumba, a political analyst. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Good evening.
Another conversation is before us. He is telling newly elected governors to prepare for recession come 2020. But now MAN and LCCI, they're questioning the basis on which he is making those predictions. LCCI, for instance, says he's not an economist. MAN is wondering why he's coming up, where he's coming up with those figures. What are your thoughts? Let me start with you.
I think the basis for his statement is from the president. Some of us don't remember that December 14th, President Buhari had a meeting with some of the outgoing governors and some of the incoming contestants, APC contestants, and he told them that they have to tighten their belts because things are about to get harder. He made that statement, and Governor Yari made the pronouncement too. When he came out of that meeting, with the closed-door meeting with the president, he said this was what the president said.
Yeah, well, this is not the first time we're hearing that things are going to be hard. Things are going to be hard.
So he's just repeating it to the new guys coming in. Now that they've won, he's just making it clear to them that this is what we've seen. You know, this is what the president has said, and of course, the president didn't just say it on his own.
But
the
deadline he's given, 2020, 2021, how is he coming?
I see a possibility of a recession coming earlier because there are so many factors. Look at insecurity, for instance. How can Nigeria be productive when you can't even travel easily from Kaduna to Abuja? Farmers can't farm anymore. Benue, a lot of farmlands are just barren because people are getting killed. So what exactly how are we going to sustain the economy? People are talking about crude oil and other things, but we don't determine these things. We can't determine the price of crude oil. So if anything happens, even without crude, if we had decent prices like 72 or so we're having today, with this insecurity in Nigeria and lack of direction of the economy, we are going nowhere.
We certainly will come to the issue of fuel prices, on oil prices in a bit, but I want to also get your thought on this, Martins.
The way I see it, Governor Yari, of course, not an economist, but in practical terms, if you look at how things are playing out in Nigeria, within the economy, you know that there's a lot of volatility. It is clear that a number of people lack all of the basic things that they need to support, their daily living. Cost of living has really gone up, and it will certainly go higher. Again, the purchasing power is dwindling at a very rapid rate. So to that extent, people are going to suffer more. They're going to face a lot more hardship. But be that as it may, the reality for those of us who are paying close attention to what is happening within the Nigerian economy, it is very clear that a number of things are not just right. If ants have eaten the wood, regardless of whether the wood is still standing, by the time you say you want to apply some cosmetic, if you like, insecticide and all of that to protect the wood, it is too late. The foundation upon which the Nigerian economy is built clearly makes it very vulnerable to shocks, to recession. One of which is, of course, the fact that we are an economy based on allocation. So if for any reason something happens to oil, everybody goes into panic mode.
And that's exactly what Jerry was saying.
The reality is that where we are now, we can't even say that we have come out of recession, and I'll tell you what I mean. If the price for a commodity was 20 naira as at the time we had this challenge of recession, and 10 people were working, now the price remains 20 naira, however, 5 people are remaining in that establishment. The books will show you that yes, we're buying our bread or whatever that commodity is for 20 naira, but the economy has suffered unemployment. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when there is a general upward movement in price, the books will show that yes, the economy is earning, which is why the customs can come and say that, we have crossed the 1 trillion mark in earning. But in reality, when you do the conversion in relative terms, you say you want to compare with last year, you want to look at exchange rate, you want to look at even individual purchasing power, you discover that all of this translates to just figures, numericals. They don't really show the volume of activity in the economy, and that is the problem that we're facing under this APC government. It is full of deceit, it is full of mirror imaging, and indeed, Nigeria might actually still be in recession.
Oh, that is an interesting position to take at this time when we were celebrating it just a couple of months
No, the books say that we have come out of it. Do you understand what I've just said?
On what basis
we have come out of it in terms of the books, but in practical terms, things are harder today. Let me tell you, I mentioned something about ants eating.
But is it not the practical term that is supposed to reflect in the books? Is it just reflecting, books saying one thing and reality is different?
You know, I found it very strange when we're told that we had gotten out of recession, because people had seen, Nigerians in general, things were actually getting harder for them. You know, recession is, okay, you've gotten out of that, your economy is no longer shrinking. But I know that, I don't know how they fixed up those figures or how they got those figures.
No,
but
there was reality. It helped.
The reality I saw in terms of Nigerians on the streets, Nigerians in their homes, things were not, they couldn't feel it. They didn't know how those figures came about. But then I agreed with them. I didn't argue with them that, so I see a situation where we are not getting any better. There's no strategy we've put in place. Look at the budget compared to the last budget. We are reducing the budget. Our health sector is in shambles. We're cutting down on that. Education, there's nothing, there's really no plan. So how is the economy going to move? Look at our ports.
For a lot of Nigerians,
we can't move things out, we can't move
for a lot
things
of
in.
Nigerians, and that's why we're having this conversation, a lot of Nigerians would say this is a humongous amount. 20, what's it now? Over 20-something billion for senators. To get.
Okay.
We'll probably get to that subsequently. But still on this issue of recession. LCCI said that even though the governor did not have figures, that Nigeria's economy is weak.
Yes.
And you talked about oil earlier, that if we go anything above, below $50 a barrel, we might have problems. Now, we had this man saying that we would like to avoid the risk of recession. And in order for us to do this, we need to address our physical viability, like the cost of governance, our huge debt profile, the amount we commit to fuel importation, and our low productivity. And this was echoed by the Registrar, Institute of Finance and Control of Nigeria. He said he concurs and says that except the federal government come up with innovative measures to stimulate aggregate demand, the economy might slip into another recession by next year. That's what he is saying. So,
no.
Do you agree, and what needs to be done? That would be my question
honest,
to you.
you know, when we say recession, it simply means that in terms of gross domestic product, there is a shrinking, there is some contraction, you know, of, if you like, all of the productive variables. Maybe before we used to get to our peak, let me say like 80. Let me just use a figure like 80. But now we're not measuring up to 80, we're now about 60. If this happens one quarter, followed by another quarter, in like say 6 months, the books will now say, you are now having challenges in terms of your, what is it called now? In terms of your economy, okay? However, what I said initially, I'm not shifting from that position, is that yes, the books must have reflected an improvement. Are you with me? However, the practical reality is that the hardship is getting choky. Why is it the way it is? It is the way it is because foundationally, we don't really have anything that can absorb the shocks. What has helped us to come out of recession, actually, will be that, yes, we got additional loans, and we also got bailout funds. Of course, the Paris Club refund and all of that, which they shared, is still an allocation kind of arrangement. For us to get the economy on sound footing, we need to do some form of structural adjustment. We need to restructure the economy properly to have some recognition for elastic, if you like,
what would this
demand.
restructuring entail?
Yeah, now, if we say restructuring, some people have talked about increment in VAT. They've talked about internally generated revenue. They've talked about productive aspects like agriculture and all of that. All of this will help. However, the relationship between work done and income that you get, we need to address it. It is very, very important. Now, if, for instance, in Ghana, a man's salary is the equivalent of Nigeria, say 1,000 naira. However, from that 1,000 naira, he can take care of his rent, he can take care of his transportation, he can take care of his children going to school. Whereas his counterpart in Nigeria will still remain challenged with that same 1,000. It tells you that we need to do some adjustment, are you with me, in how we reward, you know, productivity. So that is where the challenge is. For us in Nigeria, we keep on banding figures all over the place. If I give you 1 trillion naira for a volume of transaction of say 20, and another person gives you 1 trillion naira for a volume of transaction of say 200, the figures are the same. However, one is much more healthy than the other. And that is the challenge that economists in Nigeria need to address.
All right, let's look at the issue of governors depending on federal allocation. This is one of the issues that the governor raised at the meeting, and saying that there is need for the incoming governors to move away from that mindset and find a way to grow their internally generated revenue so they can address these issues. Do you see that actually happening? Because most governments, it seems, depend basically on this federal allocation. And when people talk, they always refer, didn't you get federal allocation?
Yes, the thing is, first of all, Yari, who is saying this thing, I wonder how far he went in increasing his IGR and making sure his state was less dependent on federal allocation. I would like to see the effort he put in. And I think that's what he was trying to tell the governors, that basically we didn't do this for reasons, I don't know, but he was trying to tell them that coming in, you have to be very prepared. You have to, these are the kind of things you must do to ensure that you don't face the kind of challenges that we face. I think that was the general scope of his discussion. But then, what we've had right now is governors who just collect money and distribute money. They've not put, most of our governors have not done anything special. And I hope there are some of them coming in right now who have ideas on how they plan to act differently. Look at their local resources, look at their people, like Professor Shibajo was talking about human development. You know, let your people develop maybe software, maybe education, something they can export out of the country and earn something. Agriculture, there are a lot of crops you can now, but then we have the ports again that are choked up. You try to ship out something, it's stuck there for several months. But then IGR is very important. States now, and the labor, for instance, they are challenging the governors that if you are coming in as a governor, you can, because that's a fear. This minimum wage is one of the reasons people are very angry with this kind of discussion, because some governors may now go there and say, oh, sorry, we came and there was recession.
But I mean, you can't really fault them, because even before the arrangement and the agreement was signed, they were very vocal. They had several meetings. They said, we cannot pay this amount. And don't forget that some of those governors are outgoing governors. The ones that are coming in might not have the necessary
experience. But you came in all the same, knowing full well that this thing has basically been agreed upon. You still went and you contested, knowing that these are the things you are going to face. You are going to have to pay that 20,000 naira. So it's no excuse.
Do you actually believe that, let's not be too optimistic and say 20 states will be able to pay that 30,000 naira minimum wage?
If the governors are actually going to work as real governors, I don't think anyone should be unable to pay. But if they want to come there and just...
don't think, but in reality, the possibility is there that...
There is a possibility, of course. I am worried that, because Yari was one of those governors who basically, he just laid around. For now, his state is in shambles and is almost spending most of his time in Abuja. So if we have governors, like 10 governors like Yari coming in, then we are going to have these shortages. But if we have creative governors coming in who are going to try their best to do something different, then this will not be a challenge.
You mentioned Oshibanjo's advice, vice presidents, to them to think of other areers of agriculture and technology. I want to take you up on that. Let me go to Martins on this one. During that same banquet for the newly elected governors, he's quoted as saying that governors should confront the situation individually, as there is no 100% guarantee that the federal government, already burdened by a deficit of about 2 trillion naira, could offer much hope. Now, do you think that this will be enough push for these, let's say, newbies?
Fundamentally, you cannot do much outside of the resources that are at your disposal. I said that the way the Nigerian economy is structured, it is a bedeviling agent. It makes it difficult, actually, for people to function optimally. When you say you want to have human capital development, how are you going to go about it? The initial resources that you're going to dole out, where are they going to come from? The reality on ground is that we need to fine-tune this whole arrangement about Nigeria. It is not compulsory, honestly speaking, it is not compulsory for us to have a uniform payment structure across Nigeria. That is one fundamental truth we need to accept. That way, it will be possible, for instance, for most states in northern Nigeria to pay less because their productivity is low. That is the reality of the matter. Part of the challenge we have in this country is
but
that
you
we
have a very
just a
strong
minute.
uproar if
Just a
people
minute.
don't get what others across the country
No,
get.
no, that is not how it works. Natural law, natural order recognizes differences. And if you walk outside of that principle, you're going to face a brick wall. You cannot have a uniform pay system across Nigeria. You must liberalize the way people earn their income because the challenges that they face. For instance, we cannot grow apples in Nigeria. That is the truth of the matter. It has nothing to in Jos.
Hold on. There's something I want to say about this.
I want to get somewhere, please.
Let him
I don't
finish
want to miss my thoughts. Now, the reality is that you talk about something, for instance, Petroleum Equalization Fund. What it costs you to move petrol from the Lagos ports all the way to Maiduguri, for instance, it must reflect in the pricing. But you say no. Therefore, people begin to make claims. Some of those claims you cannot even defend if they are properly investigated. Now, you see a government come in and they say, we are going to plug all the wastages. What wastages have they plugged? The wastages have now grown so big, nobody can control anything again. It is a big challenge. I rest my case.
Okay, let me say something about this petroleum equalizer. Let me use that analogy.
Yes.
If you say the minimum that we are going to sell petrol is 145 naira, then you provide this fund and people take petrol to Borno and they are able to sell maybe 160 because of cost of transportation. It's similar to when you say the minimum wage is going to be 30,000 naira.
Yes.
There is no law saying that Lagos State cannot pay 45,000.
Yes.
There's no law saying Oyo State should not pay. You understand? Rivers, Delta, they can't pay 35.50. But what we are saying is that the basic minimum that anybody should be earning is that 30,000 naira. So that's...
Can I just say something?
Okay.
House rent in Lagos, for instance, minimum wage is 30,000. House rent in Lagos, a decent accommodation, maybe per annum you're looking at 100,000. I'm just talking about one room, maybe 100,000. In a place like Kano, 30,000 minimum wage. House rent could be maybe 12,000 per annum. You see the difference? Now, the person in Lagos is actually poorer with 30,000, unlike the person in Maiduguri. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, the reality is that all the economic parameters, they work with demand and supply mechanism. And once you alter that process, you're going to have a problem. Unless you're running a socialist economy, of which we know that all of the governments that came on the premise of socialism, they've all died. The last I want to believe was Cuba, telling us that if we go through free enterprise, we must allow the forces of demand and supply determine how we get our economic reward. Are we together? To that extent, unless we restructure our economy, for instance, the federal government has carried too much burden on its shoulders. Right now, the federal government is doing bailout. If you are doing bailout, why not shed some of these monies to the states, for instance, since you're operating on the basis of allocation? That is a fundamental problem that needs to be addressed. And if you don't address it, you continue to have this type of economics of prostitution, because that's what it is.
Okay. Let me add something to the Lagosians.
Yes.
The Lagosian in Lagos paying 100,000 naira rent. Let me just say that they can clamor to get paid 45,000 or 60,000 as the minimum wage in Lagos. You know, while the person in Kano may be earning 30,000 or 35,000.
But this is Nigeria we live in,
Yes,
and
I'm
you know
saying,
that if you bring up such scenarios, somebody
yes.
will
His
come with a
argument is
clever
sound.
argument.
No, what I'm saying
but
is
somebody will come up with an argument and say,
wage, see, the minimum wage does not imply that everybody must
That's just
earn.
we get that much. We get that much. But considering the Nigerian factor,
You see,
if you say that, okay, the person in Maiduguri should take less because of the cost of living, and the person here, you do know that there will be agitation. What about federal character? What about uniformity in the distribution of resources. They will tell you that, okay, if that is the case, somebody will go and ignite the hike in prices of commodities, and then they will tell you, okay, now we are equal. Why won't I have this? Those are some of the complications.
That is why they are all on 30,000 naira right now.
Just a minute.
To
just a
prevent
minute.
this
I think let us understand where we are coming from, where we sit on this particular argument now.
Yeah.
Now, the issue is this: was there any need to tilt the minimum wage from where it was before to where it is now? My answer is perhaps. It's not a straight yes.
Okay.
Reason being that all the economic variables are in shock mode. Whatever you do now is actually going to compound the problem. It is not likely to give any ease. In a few weeks, in a few months, let me tell you, we're in Lagos here now.
Just before, because I'm just being told now that we have just about a minute, you talked about the economic structure that we are currently operating, and there is need for it to change. I want to quickly ask you, what kind of structure should we be considering as a nation if we really want to move forward?
Free market economy. What it simply means is allow demand and supply to flourish. What we're doing now is allocation of resources. It's a problem. It's a burden. And a lot of people eventually bleed the system because they make claims that they can't even justify. Which is why a state like Bayelsa has 8 local governments, but Kano has 44. For instance, it is not a realistic structure. It is not.
Quick thought before we move on.
Well, for me, I think partly we should listen to some of what Yari has said. I think there's logic there, and he's speaking from information that he got some months ago with that meeting with the president. So let everybody strive to make sure they increase their IGR, and let the people keep the governors on their toes. They can actually perform if we keep them on their toes. But when we just lay back, then they'll tell us they can't do anything.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Pleasure.
We appreciate it. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at 23.7 billion naira as gratuity for Nigerian senators. To stay with us. A budget nationwide survey has shown that 20 states in Nigeria owe workers and pensioners salaries and entitlements ranging from 1 to 36 months. But on the flip side, the Nigerian lawmakers have now allocated 23.7 billion naira as severance gratuity for outgoing lawmakers of the National Assembly. The sum will also cover allowances for incoming legislators, their aides, funds for National Assembly induction and inauguration of the Night Assembly. Joining me, or rather still with me in the studio, is Najib Bello. Thank you for staying. And of course, Martin Lumba. Both of them are public affairs analysts. Okay. Just yesterday, we were talking about the situation in Bayelsa State, where the assembly members were looking for life pensions ranging from 500,000. And today, the news is awash with this. What's your immediate reaction when you just oppose that to the quest for 30,000 naira minimum wage?
Ordinarily, when you work and you get to retirement age, you're entitled to some benefits. But I wouldn't say that a legislature or a legislator, having served for 4 years, maybe in the first instance, is entitled to pension or entitled to gratuity. I wouldn't say so, especially because what they earn while in service is so huge, it calls for concern. To that extent, one questions the, if you like, the patriotism, you know, that they are deploying to serve Nigeria. It is in doubt. It is really in doubt, and it is unfortunate.
Well, if it's a contributory pension, if they had been contributing maybe 10 million per annum, then maybe it's worth, maybe it's based on that calculation. 4 years, they've been contributing maybe 10 million every month, perhaps. I heard their salary is almost 30 to 40 million. That's just an assumption anyway. But if they've been contributing such huge amounts, then they should get what they demand. But then, when you've not contributed any pension, and you just want the state to give you, let's say for the state, for this Bielsans, for instance, we're asking up to 500,000 monthly payment for life. Now, when they look, to show you how inconsiderate this is, they're looking at it from their own point of view as the current lawmakers. Now, when you pass that law, that means every group of lawmakers every 4 years will be paid about 500,000.
Yeah, that's exactly what what's his name now, Goje, was saying, that the reason the amount is so huge is because it comes only 4 years, every 4 years, yeah.
So by the time we've run perhaps 40 years, you know, you have about 10 group of people you would be paying 500,000 naira each for life. So how do you pay salaries? How do you build infrastructure? How do you do anything when you have this crowd? So it's not like it's a one-person thing. Maybe, oh, there is a guy who traveled to the moon, and you say, okay, 500,000 for life. You're talking about a group of people. Every 4 years, you could have new set of people that you'll be paying.
Well, they are saying that, added to this is the fact that the fund is also going to cover for incoming legislators, the inauguration of the Night Assembly, among other issues. However, there was no detail as to how the breakdown for the spending. It
was not itemized.
What is allocated for the inauguration?
We need to stop, like he said, I'm just talking a lot, but we need to stop this. You go in there, if you work for 4 years and you are paid your full salaries and you don't contribute any pension from your salaries, then when you are going, just go. But if you go there and you contribute some part of your salaries towards a pension, then that amount should be calculated and it should be spread for the next couple of years you leave. But aside from that, we shouldn't have just random figures just thrown around without any.
But one of the arguments that was put forward for the reason why the lawmakers are looking at this, they are used to having. Hold on. They are used to having, and in their opinion, they've served this country well enough for them not to ever lack again. And one of the language that was used was to protect them from the uncertainties of the future, so that no matter what happens, whether they work or they don't work, they get something at the end of the month. Your thoughts?
They are not unique in terms of facing uncertainties. Everybody faces uncertainties. Students face uncertainties. Unemployed graduates, they face uncertainties. Retired military people, they also face uncertainties. So the legislators must not be treated any differently. Like I said earlier, I doubt their commitment to Nigeria, because at this point in time, you can see that so many states cannot pay salaries. You can see that, you know, the opportunity cost of using 23.7 billion, you know, on the east-west roads, for instance, it would have made a lot of difference. It would save people from banditry, so to say, because even the Port Harcourt axis, Elele to Bayelsa, is also a conflagration point. Then you look at the Kaduna-Abuja highway, there is also a challenge there, and so on and so forth. Our military, they need kits and so on and so forth. So I want to say that if a person like maybe Pastor Tunde Bakare was able to go for the national conference and he said, you know what, I'm comfortable, I don't have to be paid to do this. That is the kind of example we should be emphasizing. Serve the country. When you serve, you make sacrifice. Are you with me? But when you come to serve and then you want to get some kind of opulence, you want to live in opulent majesty, that is not ideal.
On a lighter note, do you...
sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So that I don't miss my thoughts. I think that fundamentally, the kind of National Assembly that we need now is a National Assembly that can help to restructure Nigeria, the economy, the polity, are you with me, and even the governmental interrelativity, so to say. The fact of the matter is that, look at the US, for instance. They talk about midterm elections. The House of Representatives, the Congress, in the US, they do elections every 2 years, for instance, not 4 years. Whereas the Senate, they are there for 6 years. Now the executive comes in for 4 years. All of these things are supposed to achieve some check so that nobody abuses power or takes privilege on undue advantage of the system. But here, you see how it is. It's a problem. So the National Assembly has a lot of work to do. They need to make that sacrifice. They need to demonstrate patriotism and, of course, deliver on their mandate.
I'm actually going to come back to this question I asked that you didn't respond to. But on a lighter note, I wanted to ask you quickly, do you envisage a scenario where we'll have lawmakers who will come up and say, do not pay me, I'm good enough to go, I just want to serve this country?
Why not?
In this country?
Certainly.
Are you going to
I just mentioned Pastor Tunde Bakare.
Is he a seven senator?
No, he's not. But at least it's a good point to start
from. So this night assembly, this night assembly, do you see any lawmaker coming up to the country and saying...
If we debate the issue long enough, a good number of them will be able to say, yes, they can hold on to that position.
You're a very optimistic Nigerian,
especially for governors who, of course, just left office. They still have so many things. As a governor, they give you a house property in Abuja. At least let me talk of the Lagos experience. They give you a house in Abuja, they give you choice house in Lagos, and they pay you some stipends. For goodness sake, you don't need any other money to say so. Are you with me?
Okay.
Don't forget that Muhammadu Buhari claims, I don't know how far that is still ongoing, but he said that he was committing part of his salary, himself and Oshibanjo, when they came in 2015, that they were committing a portion of their salary to help in our economic revival.
Mr. Martins, I think you're a very optimistic Nigerian, and that's the kind of thing we really need to see.
It's not about optimism.
Lawmakers coming up and saying, "Oh, I just want to serve this country. Don't pay me."
Really?
I'm a pessimist when it comes to that. I do not, frankly, see. I wish to be, you know, contradicted.
If we
on
press
this,
hard enough,
I find
and
it really hard
if we make the terms of engaging our legislators to reflect this kind of understanding, you'll be shocked.
All right, Najib, I was talking earlier about the details of the spending as to the breakdown of this 23-point-something billion. You didn't quite answer that question, and I want to bring it back to you. Aren't Nigerians entitled? Because the 2018 budget, we also saw a similar, you know, shrewdness around.
Are we not supposed to know? We are supposed to know, but we are not pushing hard, like he said.
How are we supposed to push? Is it not their responsibility to put this detail out there? Must we push for everything?
These people are our public servants. When they have a task to do and they don't do it, we keep quiet. You have your private servant in your home. If you get there now and you see that the person did not do what they are supposed to do, will you keep quiet?
You query him.
You will query that person and you make sure that person does what they are supposed to do.
Well, this is not the first time such a scenario is coming up. And the questions have been asked, they don't respond.
What have we done?
Yeah.
You know, there's a case of Zainab that is in Saudi Arabia. Look at the pressure Nigerians are putting in to make sure that girl does not die. And government has taken...
But to be fair to Nigerians, Najib, to be fair to Nigerians, we do speak up. But there's a difference between when you agitate and when the people that are responsible are responsive to those demands?
He said if we push hard enough, this is our country. These are public servants that are not doing what they are supposed to do. A public servant cannot tell you, I want to cook egusi soup, bring 10,000 naira. And you just take the 10,000 naira, give him, then he gives you one watery plate of soup. You will be angry, and you make sure that person knows that you will not take this. So that's what we need to be doing. We need to push and let these people know that if you are not going to do this, you come down. I will go to that Senate. I will sit there till you come out of that place. So we're not really, I try to mobilize Nigerians towards this, but a lot of people are really tired. They just want to...
It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, they just want to
really
relax.
Unfortunate.
So that,
okay, I must ask this question before we go further. It's Workers' Day, May 1. And we're not sure, like we mentioned in the previous segment, that this new minimum wage will be across board. But lawmakers are ensuring that they never lack when they leave office, while the Nigerian masses who are supposed to, reap the benefit of their wisdom and their contribution to the country are still on the sideline. What is this how it should be? And what can we do, basically, to ensure that while the senators are getting this money, all the states pay salaries exactly as stipulated by the new law?
NLC and their other bodies, they've started protesting already before even May 1st. They've already started protesting that, see, you are going to treat us well, you are going to pay this amount, and then they are talking about improving other services that help them, improving transportation, improving healthcare, rent and other things, so that the salaries, even the 30,000 naira, it now makes it more valuable when they have good health care, when they have such things. So they're already pressing, and they've made it clear that this money, they must get it, and everybody must get it. So if they continue to put pressure, they will definitely get what they need. So that's what we want to see. We want to see people actively coming out. And I think the way the economy is right now, it's making a lot of people more vocal about things that they are usually quiet about. And when they impose the new VAT, a lot of people will get even more proactive. So I look forward to seeing that.
I must say thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Pleasure.
I'm very happy to have you always. I guess that's it for now. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at our Plus package, and when we come back, I will give my take. Stay with us.
The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has warned employers of labour to shun any attempts aimed at disregarding the newly signed national minimum wage. The NLC, at a solidarity rally in Abuja, also promised a showdown with employers that continue to use casualization to deprive Nigerian workers of their rights as employees. The NLC further called for better working conditions for workers both in the private and public sector.
We call on all employers of labor to quickly commence the implementation of the new national minimum wage of 30,000 naira. The Nigerian Labour Movement will keep a hawk eye on all employers of labor, especially state government, to ensure total compliance on the implementation of the new national minimum wage. In similar vein, organized labor will continue to step up campaign to ensure that our workplace are rid of anti-workers policies and practice. In line with the theme of this year May Day, we'll be squaring up against unemployers of labor who deploy casualization, outsourcing, and anti-unionization policies to dehumanize workers and rob them of their voice and rights. We will dare you, we will win you.
The May Day, we call on all workers, even those who are holed up behind their offices now, to come out and celebrate the workers' achievements and also canvass for policies going forward that will benefit workers.
The Zamfara State Governor's comment on recession. I would like us to focus on Zamfara. It is the state with the least IGR and is the least viable state. In 2018 National Examination Council results, Zamfara State recorded the worst result. Only 24 out of 186 candidates obtained 5 credits and above. This governor, Abdulaziz Yari, is the very one who is the harbinger to announce that there is a likely recession to be, he says. How is he preparing his underdeveloped, mostly uneducated populace for this recession? Bukuyum, holy land of Zamfara's gold production. Nigeria has largely untapped deposits of minerals, including gold, tin, and zinc. Some 80% of mining in Nigeria is carried out on an artisanal basis, and gold in Zamfara is routinely smuggled out of the country illegally to neighboring Niger and Togo. Zamfara is the state worst hit by the uptick of violence and has killed dozens of people since the start of the year. The governor blames banditry, but what about poverty? How has the governor equipped the Zamfara state's economy? Property rates have crashed beyond measure all over the north. Investors have fled. Local economies have collapsed. Desertification has taken over many places as farmlands and animal husbandry are abandoned. Proceeds of crime have become the new means of livelihood for a new majority. In Zamfara, the recession started a long time ago. And that's all on Plus Politics tonight. Join us again tomorrow evening. I'm Felicity Ezewike.
For relaying the overseas, all major radio stations in Lagos State can be categorized in terms of their radio formats, which include talk, sports, traffic, elaborating on trending.
Alright, you have to get used to texting me.
What you give for better flat ring, but
interesting aspect.
They exist, which is basically to bring a level of just like Upcon that says an ad cannot go on air until it's passed through them. Maybe NBC would say they have to set up a big unit, which is going to be so much more. Yes, go ahead and ban some of these songs. But when some of these songs are actually talking.
Yeah, back in the day, old school day, not like we did their music show.
To talk about a particular politician, maybe the governor of a state.
Really, I just think there should be more, not
as
because I know the Americans that actually use most of those swear words and it's normal there. But considering our background, it does bother me.
Actually, do bother me. I don't like that part of swear word. Whenever they use it, I don't like it at all.
If we have a well-regulated media structure, it's not supposed to be played, such words. But it doesn't bother me because of a lot of our leaders are doing things that are worse and more dangerous than the swear words. And we take them. We have no options. So those swear words actually put food on those guys, their tables. Allow them to swear for who they want to swear for, man.
Well, I think people have a right to say what...
And strange bedfellows.
An economy that would bring sustainable abundance to the people. This year's event tagged another 100 years of struggle for jobs, dignity and social justice. In Nigeria Manifest event earlier, we were joined by Debo Adeniro, the Executive Chairman, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders. And this is what he had to say discussing the plight of Nigerian workers.
Well, thank you very much. For so long, we've been believing that Nigerian workers don't have causes to celebrate. But this year, I believe they have a lot of cause to celebrate. I believe that Buhari could go down the history lane as the most friendly, labor-friendly president that we've got in recent times.
Oh, you actually agree that...
I agree with it. That's what I said. Because if you remember when he came in, many governors, about 30 of them were actually owing salary. Even federal government was owing, but he gave governors, or most of the states, lifeline with a view to ensuring that workers were paid. If he was not worker-friendly, he wouldn't have done that. Now, when he wanted to give them the second tranche of the Paris Club, kind of a lifeline, he actually made it as one of the conditions that he will monitor the payment of salaries of workers. That is a way to be labor-friendly. But what I want to watch, I have also been labor-friendly for more than 30 years, but I cannot continue to support labor blindly. There are a few things that Labour ought to have done differently.
Yeah, before we go to Labour, you said something that I want to take you back on. You said Buhari is a friendly, Labour-friendly president, and one of the reasons for the Paris Club refund was to ensure salaries are paid.
Exactly.
Well, you and I both know that some states did not keep up to this, and it didn't seem like the presidency did something about it.
Well, there is little the president could do about it because every state is semi-independent. He could only say, I want to give this lifeline. It is left for the governors to apply it judiciously the way it was outlined. That was when the second tranche was not released immediately to those governors that didn't apply it, the way it was planned. When they didn't apply the first tranche the way it should be. So he doesn't have absolute control over the states, but he has absolute control over the federation account from where the money could be drawn, and that was what he exercised. And if you discovered, almost all states of the federation have paid the backlog of salary arrears, and those that have not paid, they have different reasons for not paying. And of course, he could not punish any state. He cannot remove any state governor. He cannot, but he can withhold some of their allocations if they refuse to apply the money, according to the plans. However, if he does that again, he will be termed a dictator. Maybe that is the reason why I didn't punish them by withholding their monthly allocation. So basically, he has done his own best, because even the federal government was owing before he came. Owing his workers, but he kind of obliterates all the outstanding payments.
Okay, just before I interrupted you, wanted to talk about Labour's role in workers' welfare.
Yes, I want Nigerians to know that there's hardly anything that any government can do successfully without the labor force. It is the same set of people that are called the labor force that are working in the public and the private sector. They were the one collecting the revenue. They were the one releasing the monthly allocation. They were the one doing the accounting. They were the one providing the services. What are they doing with the money? Now, if they knew how much they got, from the revenue mobilization they have done, they should be able to advise government appropriately. But what we have is that they advise various political leaders inappropriately. It is still the same labor people that will not fix the road properly when they are supposed to fix it. It is the same people within the labor force that will clear contractors who have done a shoddy job for the government. It is the same labor force that will release the money to a wrong pocket to be applied for, personal uses. It is they that collect what you call kickback. They are the ones who overbloat, vouchers and all of that. So if labor had looked inwards and maybe sanitize its own ranks and files, ensuring that there is a kind of control mechanism that will not allow the labor force to get involved in all these corrupt practices. Definitely, the money that belongs to Nigeria will go to Nigerians. But when you want to launder the money, they know how to bring out, vouchers. They know how to do all of this.
Strong allegations you're making.
It is not allegation. If no political leader, in fact, most of the political leaders don't sign checks. Governors, president, they don't sign checks.
Yeah, because we're working with limited time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I will have to interrupt.
So I just want laborers to do their own internal reorientation so that they will also serve the interests of ordinary Nigerian people who are not in public service, who are not civil servants, who are not directly in the real sector of the economy, but they are petty traders, those who don't have direct access to national covers.
Okay, we have a new minimum wage of 30,000 naira. Do you think it will meet government's aim, the purpose for which it is intended, or government should do more, increase?
They should increase all the salaries. Then, government should not actually leave the market forces to determine how the market trend goes. They should also ensure that they support those that are not in civil service, so that they will not have that kind of what do you call it, that they have been left out of that they needed to share from the national proverbial national cake by increasing the cost of their wares, without any parameter that is open to everybody. They should also support those petty traders, trader money and all of that should continue so that everybody will have sense of belonging.
And away from that conversation, we still focus on today's celebration. Now, International Workers' Day, which is also known as Workers' Day, or Labor Day in some countries and often referred to as May Day, is a celebration of workers all over the world, recalling the role played by trade unions and other labor movements. Today's event offers workers yet another opportunity to appreciate themselves as well as call government to action and responding to their various worker needs. Our correspondent, Amaka Okoye, was at today's rally and has this report.
To mark the Workers' Day celebration, comrades from the United Labour Congress of Nigeria, other unionists, workers and members of other action groups walked through the streets, chanting, singing in solidarity. While the day calls for celebrations, comrades explain what the day is to them and its essence and their expectations.
Year in, year out, we come together at least to reappraise how far we have, how good, how bad we have gone, and then take a new commitment, take a new mandate, to forge ahead. It wouldn't have been like this, if we were not meeting every year to ask questions. Workers come up to demonstrate, to come out with banners, to come out with placards, to raise those issues that have been silent, which the leadership may not be aware, and we normally take them up.
There are not much to be celebrated for today.
But because it is a workers' day, and this is our day, we must embrace one another. We must interact with one another. We must rejoice with one another, despite our working in a very hardship condition. But nevertheless, we are taking advantage of today to send messages to government, to politicians, and to the lax minds of the stakeholders in Nigeria, that the workers in Nigeria that create wealth, we have some challenges, and this is our day. We want a situation where
numerous struggles, that we have had to endure over the years. We want to remind ourselves of who we are, that we are workers, that we are under a common bond.
Indeed, the struggle continues. Nigerian workers and comrades have said they will continue to push on, to trudge on until success and victory is won, in spite of all the challenges. From the stadium on Workers' Day, saying to you, Happy Workers' Day, I am Amaka Okoye for Plus TV Africa.
And joining us now in our Lagos studio to shed more light on this matter is Shola Omolaye, social commentator. Good to have you join us, and happy May Day.
Happy May Day, Nigerians.
Yes, Nigeria is termed the giant of Africa and joins the rest of the world to mark Workers' Day. But to what extent, in your opinion, you heard that report there, varied opinions as to whether or not we've made much progress. But taking cognizance now of the 30,000 naira minimum wage, which has become law, received presidential assent not too long ago. What do you make of the progress we've made so far? Has there been any?
I don't see anything different from what we've been experiencing before, the fight for the increment of salary. The labor force have lost its track long before now. I just believe they are there just bearing the name labor organization, and some group of persons put themselves in a war trying to do a paperwork, not fighting for the cause of their people. The problem of the labor force in Nigeria is not just about salary. What of the welfare of their people, their children, their wives? What are Labour doing to all of this? I believe Paul Modu may not have been in his resting position if there is a point for him to look back and see what is happening to this labor organization. They've lost track. You're fighting for 30,000 and that's what you're celebrating? What has that got to do for a man that has to pay school fees of 2 children in any of these universities?
Well, that's why they are saying that they have a message to the government, and until enough is done, they wouldn't keep silent.
What is enough there? What have they been fighting for, even before this issue of 30,000? There are schools that are shut down for almost 3 months, and these labor forces are there doing nothing.
What do you now expect?
Hospitals are there, they are not functioning well. You're talking of paying a soul of this country an average of 1,500 naira a day, and you are celebrating that?
We understand the realities on ground now. To what extent do you expect a difference in the disposition of Labour to have conversations that would yield results with the government moving forward? And others have also said that, well, the real work starts now with implementation of this law.
Is it to the Labour force or to the government?
To the government and Labour force. Okay. Now, some states all salaries, some like Taraba, Imo, and other states, all entitlements to pensioners. So to what extent now do you think we would have a feasible working welfare for workers?
I don't think this labor that we are having this day will be able to do anything, because they are friends to some of these government agents, so tied in that call that they can't give a fight.
But we've seen all of the headlines, and they've been fighting to the mill.
It's the people. The people and the political train that we're driving at that time, that was why it was that easy.
Now, you faulted the labor unions, but to what extent now do you expect the presidency and then state government as well to respond and do the needful when it comes to implementation?
Yes, I think we're going to depend more on the legislature. Those are the ones that might determine what happened to some of these laws that has been put in place. Yes, this president, we might want to do some certain things. Look, we're making a mistake here. The Paris Fund that was dished out was a loan. And if you dish out a loan to any of the state, the governor of that state, who is the administrator of that state, will determine where that money goes. You can't query it.
Talking about the determination of where that money goes now, I'd like to bring to your notice as well, you remember the report of the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu,
yeah.
as towards the last tranche of 20 billion naira, which is expected to have been released, and then they have it to pay workers. The allegation they were making was that he fixed this money in a private account and utilized those yields. But some have also said that that is, in his response or counter-argument, he says that is impossible. But to what extent can we put checks and balances so that whenever we have such funds or intervention, we don't see the ugly head of corruption raise its head?
Our law is an interwoven stuff. And some of these governors are so strong that you don't know. More stronger than the legislative house that ought to check some of the way our governors manages the fund that comes from the local, from the national executive. Taking for the fact that some of this fund that is meant to manage the affairs of the local government is also being managed by the state government.
Okay, let's shift our focus now to some open secrets.
Yep.
Now, we know this familiar term, job racketeering. It is, first and foremost, we are to think that you have to pay to become employed, either across different ministries, departments, and agencies. But we've seen all of this play out in Nigeria. We've had certain instances where people have been called out. But to what extent do you think we should now have more sanctions put in place, punitive measures, legal actions taken place? Or would you just say it's just a case of sack and dismiss?
When you don't have a data, when you don't have a data in a country like ours, how do you manage?
That's why I call it the open secret.
Yes. So what I believe we should begin to do now is to diversify our way of employing Nigerians, either by going by agencies. Some of these private bodies engage in that too, because there is no way you will be going by the way of saying, okay, the federal government want to open a channel for employment, that you are not going to be finding some of these routes.
Okay,
places.
in 2016 as well now, there were no less than 37,395 ghost workers identified by the EFCC, and they claimed that the government lost no less than 1 billion naira. That was 2016, and statistics have also shown that we've seen an increase in this number as well. So if we are having this rising case of this menace, how then do we change or re-strategize? What would you say?
The resources, what do we use it for? That will determine either we want to encourage fighting it from the roots. If you are saying
some would say these are leakages that are expected
those leakages
to
at the
use
end
for
of the day,
infrastructural development.
You see,
and
we have an interwoven problem here in this part of the world. You discover that there's a loss because of a cause. You take care of the cause and you have an excess. Where is the excess going? That we encourage under parastatals to say, okay, this is what we are having on this side too. But even the main proceed that is coming from that part of your leakage, it's not being put to use. People cannot see the value.
So there is no accountability.
It's like you are even encouraging the practice. And a lot of people will be holding fund back.
Okay, talking about practices that we shouldn't condone now, the Okoye Obono Abla led special presidential investigation for recovery of public property also arrested a Delta State Accountant General for allegedly amassing wealth and assets corruptly, and this is worth over 7 billion naira, richer than some state governors. What do you make of this?
When I hear some of these things, it just make me laugh. News for us to read. Nothing will come out of it.
Some would say they are almost like catfish in water. You can never get them.
That's what I just say. No, you have this electric fish. You just feel it and you drop it again. We've been hearing this.
Okay. And how do we address it?
How do we address it? Just one man, leadership. Just one leader. When you find one man following the right track, who is ready to bring the change, even right from his place of seat, the whole environment will change. When you hear the roaring of the lion, every other animal takes cover. You know that. Okay. Just one roar of a lion, every other animal within takes cover. Just one man can do the change.
Okay. And talking about the welfare of workers, one of the pertinent issues that we've had so far, back and forth, is whether or not unionization should be allowed even in private organizations. What's your thought on this matter?
You see, now, I don't see this body. I don't see them doing the work of the people anymore. They've long gone. They overstayed their time. Unless somebody comes and re-examine the practice of that organization, that is when you can put in anything. As long as this group of persons are there, we can move. Come up with any theory, you can't get anything right.
Okay.
Since after 2007, Labour is there.
Okay. So you're talking about the NLC, ULC, as well as the TUC.
Sure.
Okay, but in your last words now, irrespective of the challenges that Nigerians face, what's your word to the Nigerian worker out there to continue to be resilient?
They just need to, like we're used to, continue to pray, hoping that a section or a sector of the activist institution will wake up one day and readdress some of these challenges for us.
Thank you
but
very
to
much.
depend on this labor force, they're gone.
Hopefully we get better days, and then the next celebration of May Day comes with much more smiles. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Shola Omolaya.
Thank you so much.
It's time to take a quick break now. When we come back after the short break, we'll bring you the reports from the rest of Africa. Do stay with us. Glad to have you back. And if you're just joining us, well, this is our African news package, moving away from news across Nigeria. Now, Sudan's military rulers said that they were ready to negotiate with the opposition over the political future of the country, but there should be no further unrest beyond Tuesday, a reference to protests disrupting trains and bridges. Opposition groups and protesters have been pressing the Transitional Military Council to speed up the move to civilian rule since the army ousted former President Omar al-Bashir on the 11th of last month. The main organizers of the protest, the Sudanese Professionals Association, called on Monday for civil disobedience and a general strike as meetings with the TMC failed to provide any breakthrough on the creation of a joint civilian-military transitional council. At a press conference on Tuesday, the military said it would not disperse a protest sit-in that has been taking place outside the Defense Ministry since April 6. And after the short break, we'll bring you other reports as well from the foreign scene. Don't go anywhere. On the international front, we have some security-related matters as police have arrested a suspect in a shooting that left 2 people dead and 4 others injured, as well as 3 critically injured as well on Tuesday at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Local media have identified the man as a 22-year-old Tristan Terrell. Police were seen escorting Terrell into custody. Official details of the shooting remain unclear, but campus police chief Jeff Baker said emergency dispatch received a call late in the afternoon about an individual armed with a pistol who had shot several students. 2 or 3 campus police officers responding to the call entered the building, disarmed the suspect and took the individual into custody. Neither the suspect's identity nor sex had been immediately disclosed by the police. It's time to bring you business news updates now. And talking business now, the United Nations has pledged to support the African Development Bank AFDB's power project known as Desert to Power Initiative in Africa. A statement by the Communication and External Relations Department of the AFDB on Tuesday said the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres made the pledge when he met with the president of the bank, Akumi Adesina, in New York. The Desert to Power Initiative is expected to provide electricity to 250 million people on the continent. The project is a $10 billion initiative to build a 10-gigawatt solar zone across the Sahel, the largest in the world, and it aims to develop and provide 10 gigawatts of solar energy by the year 2025. Still to come, we have entertainment and sports news. And at this hour, we have reports that Sierra and Russell Wilson have just made a major career move. The couple have launched a production company called Why Not You for film, television and digital content. Why Not You Productions aims to tell inspiring and aspiring narratives and human interest stories and will serve as an outlet for Wilson's innovative and creative side. And Wilson and Sierra stated in a joint press statement that, and I quote, "While we work in different fields in our day-to-day, we are excited to come together to collaborate and create stories that we hope will touch people's lives. We are both storytellers at heart and we want to be able to share stories that uplift people and inspire others to create positive change. That's ultimately what we want this company to represent." End of quote. Now, Russell Wilson was just recently in the news for signing a record-breaking contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks. This wouldn't be the couple's first venture into entrepreneurship. Earlier this year, Sierra launched her entertainment company and record label, Beauty Marks Entertainment, which plans to align music with film, fashion, technology, as well as philanthropy. And we have sports updates now. Bringing you sports update now, our focus is on Caster Semenya, who has lost a landmark case against athletics governing body, meaning it will be allowed to restrict testosterone levels in female runners. The Court of Arbitration for Sport, that's the CAS, rejected the South African's challenge against the IAAF's new rules. 28-year-old Semenya had said that the regulations were unfair and that she wanted to run naturally the way she was born. Now, the Olympic, World and Commonwealth champion at 800 meters and other athletes with differences of sexual development must either take medication in order to compete in track events from 400 meters to the mile or change to another distance. The CAS found that the rules for the athletes with DSD were discriminatory, but the discrimination was necessary, reasonable and proportionate to protect the integrity of female athletes. The CAS has asked the IAAF to consider delaying the application of the rules to the 1,500 meters and 1 mile events until more evidence is available. And there you have it. Sport wraps up our news roundup of events at this hour from our Lagos studio. For more news, update and broadcast, please follow us at Plus TV Africa. That's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And please do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We have plenty more news coming up at the top of the hour. To stay tuned to Plus TV Africa.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild.
This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Minister, welcome to the show.
You're watching Plus TV Africa, and this is Tea Time.
I loved the energy when I came in here. It was so positive. I was like, I can't live here.
My real names are Akbofyokobo, Akborobomemere.
I think my father is a comedian because most times when he calls me, he's like, yo, make sure you use condom. You know, them girls out there.
So are you telling me I should have shot my shots?
Ife, you are my younger brother.
Age is nothing but a number. Well, I'm a vampire.
I believe in equal rights for women. And I also believe that a man is the head of the house. So we need to draw our limits somewhere. Feels so good. Now can I do my jam now?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say!
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
That is how we get looped into a cycle of insanity, repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. That cycle of failure is unsustainable, and it has to end now.
Infection train is back.
They take us to the push and start asking us to call our people to send more people.
What can be done as an intervention for them right now to stop abuse of all children?
This time they are away, and Peacock goes away strongly. Hi guys, welcome to Tea Time, where we dish out the very latest entertainment headlines. I'm Tokumbo Taiwo, and I'm here with the usual crew, Elsie Godwin, Ife Oshunkeye, and Ife Oluwa Omai. Good to have you guys on the show once again. Okay, so what's new this afternoon? Anything exciting? Anything interesting? Anything hot? Anything?
We should be looking at you guys.
I think the media is going gaga on Tonto Dike's story.
Oh,
like,
yes,
there's so many versions out, and People have opinions.
Yes, people
So
have
many
opinions.
What version have you
And
seen?
some people are actually
Our
thinking,
own version.
they're mixing it up and thinking that Churchill is the same person as Mr. X.
Oh.
And he's not. I mean, we
That was
probably
the
have
guy
to
she
wait for our
dated
part
for-
two. Yeah, she dated Mr. X
For
before
about 2
Churchill.
years.
Then at some point, Churchill wanted to take the glory of Mr. X because she never showed Mr. X's face. And she told him to tell people that he is Mr. X.
Right.
You know, so it's I think
She's
people
talking a lot
just
though.
not
Like
judge.
she's a lot of
She's
over
in
social
the mood.
media.
Yeah, we saw her with Daddy Freeze
Just-
earlier
yeah,
today.
earlier
And she has one on her vlog too.
Yeah, and a lot of blog
guys.
sites have actually picked up our story too, you know, with different sensationalized headlines.
So let's move on to the main stories that we've got in store for you this afternoon. Our first one is on Burna Boy, who says, I feel so sorry for every Nigerian artist jumping into international deals. Okay, so who wants to go first since we've got a full house?
Don't you think it's a bit like drastic?
Drastic for him to say so, yeah?
Yeah, because you're
He
first
must
of all
be
you're
saying it-
assuming that everybody.
No, but he must be saying it on the back of someone having recently joined one of the 4 top record companies.
I kind of feel he's talking from
General.
experience, but
Oh,
he's
okay.
not saying enough.
No,
so
but he says that
But
he,
he said
thank
he-
goodness, that his mom prevented him from.
Yeah, I mean,
the
he,
opposite,
he
like
has
he's-
he has like affiliation with is it
Warner.
Universal Record now?
Okay.
And
From-
then
from
another
his-
one, I saw one on Atlantic Record too. So he's had some international collaborations. I don't know what section of the deal it is, whether it's just distribution or he was really
Yeah,
signed.
what he has to do with them is
said the opposite
distribution.
from his post. It
It's
seems like
publication and distribution of his works. That's the deal he has with them. I'm not sure if it's Universal. I think it's more of Sony Records, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
isn't he
It's a Universal or Sony.
Sorry?
I got the opposite. Because from the post he was saying, he's saying that he has no knowledge
has one with
on
Universal
this.
Music
No,
Company.
not collaboration.
Yeah, Universal,
knowledge.
right?
Universal
That's
Music
He
Universal.
doesn't have any knowledge on the thing that he's complaining about. It seems like he's only had access to this new information, and that makes him sad.
No, that's not.
In the furthermore post, he said, "I'm just hearing what is happening now. It's almost like I'm getting revelation of what actually goes into these things,
Yeah.
and that makes me sad. And I thank the managers and my mom for protecting me
Yes,
from
yeah,
that. So I got the opposite, that he actually hasn't had like a first-hand experience on what's so bad.
No, the reason why he doesn't have a first-hand experience is because he's not signing as their artist for them to have control of his
We're
creative
saying the same
process.
thing.
Do you understand? He's signing publication and distribution deals with these people. Now, that's totally different. Now, that's how they push you abroad for people to be able to see your works and your music. But these other guys, like Davido did, I can't remember, I think it was Sony Records that Davido had a deal with, and they were affecting his creative process, and then he had to like leave them. And when he came out of that, he was so glad as well, and he was like, I'm going to be giving you the view, Davido, because they'll be telling you, oh, we don't want that song that has the Shaku
There's too
vibe.
much
We
attack
want
on
this.
So
we
he's
want-
talking
yeah.
about the record labels or the artists as well, because I thought I was getting the vibe. He didn't really say much, but I was
Yeah,
getting
you know,
the vibe that
it's-
he's talking about like creative collaborations with these artists, like the way Yemi Alade did with.
Very
No,
close.
It's getting
that's not
signed
what-
with the
Getting
record
signed, record
labels.
deals.
Yeah,
Record
record deals.
deals.
Because you know they can, like Ife just said just now, that sometimes they can hinder your creative ability, you know, which, and then sometimes, even like here in Nigeria, sometimes the deal is not that, it's not beneficial to the artist, you know, so...
Besides that, they will tell you that you're going to shoot like 4 videos, and then you'll be there, and then you'll be waiting for one video to be shot, and they'll be focusing on
And
another
that's why I
artist.
said it was a bit drastic, because it kind of sounds like bad belly if you're saying it's like international deals. I feel so bad, because it's not just international deals, it's just like any deal in general.
In general.
That's what I'm
Watch
saying.
out
Like,
for this.
what kind of like, you know, do you understand?
No,
You're
but
not
for him
putting
to
the
come
whole
out to say
bracket
this, you know, I think probably, that's why I have a feeling that it must be off the back of someone signing recently.
And which is where I'm saying he didn't drop enough info. Like if he's coming out to say this, then he should be ready to at least say things that would direct this
more credible.
artist.
I don't think they would want to call out any.
He won't want to,
You
yeah.
can even be more specific about what the danger is. Is it that they're not signing them enough money, or they're not restricting them creatively?
Them.
I think that's more like
should
where
be
he's
more
going.
specific
I
as
think
to
it's
like.
more of because I had to sit down with Universal Records Nigeria when they first started in Nigeria. And one of the things I asked them was like, okay, now the music industry in Nigeria is beginning to boom. Is that the reason why you guys are now coming? It's more like the colonial masters coming all over again and trying to take over the Afro-pop industry and all of that. And they were like, no, they just see a very good market and they decided to. But I realized that a lot of people that have signed deals with international record labels such as Davido, Wizkid, and the likes of them, they've all regretted it. And they all came out to say, oh, I regretted signing a deal with this person. Or they are no longer with that international record label.
I think they should all read the fine print. Anyone that is signing any record deal.
Don't be too excited.
Exactly.
Just read. Let your lawyers go through them and decide.
All right, guys, on that note, let's go on a quick break. When we return, it will be time to discuss one very interesting headline. Stay here.
Hey, what's up, my people? It's your boy Elvis Poco. I want to say to you, keep watching Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Best concert of your life? Don't just stay cool, stay refreshed with an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Pick your lane, solo or bigger boy.
Taste the feeling.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
Hi, my name is Aiko Kichiku.
And Florence Okichiku.
Keep watching Tea Time on Plus TV
Africa.
Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa. Up next, Chrissy Teigen is being heckled by anti-fur activists who call her a heartless murderer. Okay, so Elsie, let me come to you because you watched. Because I know that before the show you were watching the video. So
the clip and saw how passionate he was about it, and I think it's commendable, even though I don't understand it, but it's very commendable.
What is commendable about it?
I'll just rest. I mean, he's passionate about
what he believes, animal rights.
And I'm just going to define what they do, because basically there is an international anti-fur coalition, and it's an animal rights movement focusing on the atrocities of the fur trade, in which at least 1 billion rabbits and over 85 million other animals are brutally murdered every year for their fur. So that is basically what his concern is, the rabbits and the animals that are being killed. So over to you two.
We all know.
That's why I said I like that he's passionate about it.
Even Toby, can you remember when Toby came on the show? Toby told you that he did not know that there was a body for animal cruelty in Nigeria. We have all those bodies put in place, but it doesn't mean that Gucci will not still make a fur jacket. But
we're even talking about jackets. There's shoes and stuff, snake skin, crocodile skin.
Gucci
exactly. So it's all of them.
And all of that there with fur. But what I'm trying to get is, what is commendable? The guy's passion or the insulting all the time?
I like his passion to protect animals. That's what I'm not saying. The way he went out to shout.
But one thing that I have an issue with is, because one of the times that I've seen people protest about animal fur and all of this sort of stuff is when they're actually wearing it. But for her not to be wearing it at that time and then you bring that issue on is so not cool. That's the issue that I have with it.
Because wasn't you saying earlier that like if she's known for wearing animal fur. Like she's known.
No, she's not known for. She wears it a lot. But I don't think she's known for because most of them actually wear.
It's not something that
Kim Kardashian wears furs.
That's what I'm saying. She wears furs a lot. There are so many women that wear fur a lot.
How many times Kim has
and you have to be careful. Just because there's fur on something,
then they should be attacking.
That is actually fur. Is animal fur.
Yeah.
Then they should be attacking Ivanka Trump as well.
She wears quite a lot. In fact, as I said, there's a lot of them that wear it. But like I said, I was just like remembering one instance where I have seen a lot of people do this protest, and like I said, I think it's usually when they're wearing the fur and
I don't think you only have to protest when somebody is wearing it, though. The slurs are unnecessary.
No, I'm saying I think it's much more effective when someone, so that you put your point home. When someone just goes like what she just did, she didn't wear any fur. She was in black from the video clip that we saw.
I don't think that matters though. So I'm only going to accuse a rapist only when I'm catching him rape the person. That's what you're saying.
No, not necessarily.
If somebody is known for a series of events
this is not a crime. This is not a crime. This is a cause. It's a cause.
Technically speaking, it's an ethical crime.
It's an ethical crime.
Yeah, but it's not. If you're associating yourself, it's like fast fashion. How people are complaining that they're using children, for example, like in China, or they're giving them unhabitable work environments for them to do.
Not just China, Southeast Asia,
even
generally.
Africa. Let's not go
too
far.
Exactly.
So if you know that for a fact, and you have a lot of influence, a voice, and you keep associating yourself to something that is causing social damage, of course you should be called out on it, even if you're not wearing the fur or not. I think that she should be called out.
We're going to have to agree to disagree.
I totally agree, and I think they should be called out, but I don't think it is while I'm at a red carpet, then you start telling, oh, you're very ugly.
The attention.
It was totally
you don't believe so?
Drive your point home and just name it. We don't like the fact, get a press person to ask her, why do you wear a lot of furs? Do you know you're actually doing? What is she
ugly
educated
and
about
a murderer.
this?
I don't think she's ever murdered any animal to put the fur on her
That's
clothes.
the way they see her.
So then we shouldn't be supporting this
guy. Exactly. He's self-absorbed.
I feel like I like the angle the media is taking it from because they are really commending her composure.
Yes.
She did not react.
She didn't react.
But who would have? What could she have done though?
Because she's guilty looking.
Maybe Cardi B, Cardi girl with a snap.
Okay, guys, there's another angle that is coming to my mind. Why actually attack the people that wear it? Why not attack the people that manufacture it?
Well, see, you can't say that because they'll always. If you decide to create, if you decide, oh my gosh,
go on.
If you decide to make an audience for something, it's like child pornography.
Okay.
Why do you think people are making it? It's because there's viewers. In a world of business, nobody really cares about like what is socially etiquette or whatever. But the responsibility goes on the consumer. Why are you? There's plastic fur. There's makeup fur. Why are you deciding, knowing that there's cruelty for these animals?
Are they so sure that she's actually wearing the animal fur and
I
not
would
the
like to
plastic
believe
fur?
that this activist, if he's going especially towards her, he has his information and he knows that that kind of
knows the brand.
That's speculation. We're not sure about that.
And I said going
if you know
off
the
on
brand
that,
she wears, then you know what kind of fur it is. Is that simple?
All right, guys. Very interesting conversation, but let's move on. Let's move on to our next story, which is on John Singleton's mother, who is in possession of a will, and apparently there's a $35 million will on the line. So this is quite interesting because I think Singleton's mother, her name is Sheila Ward, and she was like the conservator on his, like she was actually handling his affairs beforehand, and I think that's why they have a will. But apparently the children,
he had a stroke.
So apparently the children, they're not too happy about this will because technically speaking, if someone passes on in the US, without a will, the whole amount is supposed to be distributed amongst the children. So they're saying that, okay, Sheila has a will now so that she can also get something, because technically...
But I don't know if you guys saw it, like, after his death, there was this back and forth between one of his daughters, Cleopatra. And their mother about... Because I saw that, I was like, man, once people die, that's when you see the ugly side of the family.
I thought that was happening while he was bedridden, so they rested that.
They rested it when he died.
So that was happening while he was still bedridden.
Okay. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, when people die, a lot of things just come out. Or when people are indisposed, you just, a lot of things just, you get. crop up now. You're saying, oh, the mother is trying. This is the woman that raised this guy. Of course, we know we have bad mothers. Nobody's going to say we don't know that there are bad mothers that will want to rip off their grandchildren, especially with the type of money he has. $35 million estates is a lot. So at the end of the day, I'm glad there's a will, and I just feel that there would be conflict on this will.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're going to contest it. In fact, I saw somewhere
especially
where
if a lot goes to Sheila.
Exactly. And then there's also talk that, you know, they were not sure about his mental state at the time that he made the will, all of those things. And then, they do, and then, yes, there's the truth.
It depends on what
how sick he was, because, and they're going to check all of those things. They're going to check all of those things.
His mental state.
But at the end of the day, I still also have to say, because like Sheila is his mom and these are his children, at the end of the day, they're still a family. They should just sort it out rather than, you know, wash their dirty laundry.
Should I give you a typical example?
Yeah,
the MKO Abiola family.
Yeah, what about them?
Arrest my case.
No, you can't use that because that was like a polygamous group. This is like the whole family and grandkids. They're all. This is all bloodline, and blood is definitely thicker than water. If it's a polygamous
sometimes
family,
money gets thicker than
water. Okay,
That's
all right.
line.
Okay, that's another line indeed. All right. Anyone wants to do final thoughts?
I think they will be fine.
Yeah.
We just need to see the content of the will and see how it plays out.
I think money gets thicker than blood.
Okay. Okay. And you?
I've said mine.
Oh, already? You're not saying any more?
No,
just a little bit more. You know we do extra here on Tea Time.
To be honest, this kind of stories really piss me off because it's sad when you see like a family unit getting embarrassed on TV for money. I don't think there's anything more tacky than that for me personally. Like especially after your death, you think that kind of event will bring people closer. But if the money is not as in tearing people apart.
And I think
like,
I
just
also
get
have,
your stuff together, like get your act together.
And I think I also have a problem with children and family members that are actually waiting for someone to die for you to inherit. Once you go out there and hustle,
you reminds me of
waiting. He's dead. It has to be shared.
It has to be shared.
I've always told my dad. I've always told my mom one thing. You know, my mom is always like, I'm like, look, I don't care about any of this.
But when he dies, if they won't give it to you,
if they give it to me, fine. But I won't be waiting.
I have to say
though,
on the first point, you know, there are actually stories where they actually wait. Some even can't wait. They actually poison the person before they die.
I know there are stories like that, but we are not sure this is what is going on.
No, definitely. We're just talking
I'm just saying that.
So,
it's off the back of what you said that you think is very embarrassing for them to be.
It reminds me of Chief Daddy. Did you guys watch that?
Yes, Chief Daddy when he died, and then everyone turns up.
Like, why should a child be waiting for
Sweet Tomato, or what's her name, turned up, and so many other women.
And at the end of the day, the guy wasn't dead, so there wasn't even any money
at the end.
For them.
No, there was money, but he made it in a way that they wouldn't be able to access the money until a certain number of years. Basically.
He invested the money. He reinvested his money.
But it's a good thing that this is, 35 million. So regardless of any percentage that you get, there'll be something to grasp onto.
They're just 7 kids, even if they give them to 2 million.
No, but that's 8. There are 8 people. The mother too, Sheila, would definitely want something.
Even if they give them to 2, that's still 16. There's still change.
Okay.
To $2 million.
Exactly. There's administration.
Not cash though. That's true.
Okay, guys, that's what we're going to wrap up on Tea Time this afternoon. Join us tomorrow for brand new episodes of the program. Until then, I remain Tokumbo Taiwo saying thank you very much for joining us. And I also have to thank my co-anchors on the program, Elsie Godwin, Ife Oshunkeye, and Ife Omai. Yes, how can I forget? Ife Square. Okay. All right, then. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
You're watching Plus TV Africa, and this is Tea Time.
I loved the energy when I came in here. It was so positive. I was like, I can live here.
My real names are Akbohyokobo, Akborobo Memere.
I think my father is a comedian because most times when he calls me, he's like, yo, make sure you use condom, you know, them girls out there.
So are you telling me I should have shot my shots?
Ife, you are my younger brother.
Age is nothing but a number. What? I'm a vampire.
I believe in equal rights for women, and I also believe that a man is the head of the house, so we need to draw our limits somewhere.
It feels so good. Now can I do my jam now?
Yeah, you can.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, Abi?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
My country people, you do well say join us inside news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. This one at them story where they make background for this very o'clock. My name na Betiana Unweli. Chris Ngige, Nigeria Minister of Labour and Employment, talks say Muhammadu Buhari now we country most labour-friendly presido. He talked this one inside a statement on Tuesday to mark the 2019 Workers' Day celebration. According by Ngige, the president they determined to create an economy where go bring sustainable abundance to the people. This year, event where them call another 100 years of struggle for jobs, dignity, and social justice in Nigeria, they manifest in coincidence with the centenary celebration of the International Labour Organization, ILO, where Nigeria pioneered as first country office for Africa 60 years ago in Lagos. They don't urge President Muhammadu Buhari say making do more to improve the welfare and standard of living of Nigerian workers. Najib Bello, will be public affairs analyst, been yarned earlier on the plight of Nigerian workers. He said the president and the ministers need to do more to complement their promises to improve the lives of Nigerian workers.
Now, when they talk about Workers' Day today and Wednesday, May 1st, yes. They call us a Workers' Day for Nigeria. So the matter be say, you feel say Nigerians, as in Nigeria people, they get reason to celebrate today as Workers' Day.
The only thing why I say workers get to celebrate today, now that new minimum wage of 30K where government don't pass recently. Yeah. Now from this month, now they go begin pay them that 30K. It's still better past the 18K where they give them before. So that one is something they're supposed to celebrate. And apart from that, I don't even see any other thing. But that 30K reach for them to say, okay, better don't still show small.
Okay. So based on logistics, that 30K, yes, so, if the matter yes. Say they sweet people for belly.
Exactly.
So they say Oga Buhari, the president of this country, they say now be Nigeria labor-friendly president. Meaning say they friendly to
labor. To now labor. So the minister talking, labor minister. Well, if they talk, say Buhari, they friendly to labor. From the way the ministers, they talk to the workers and how they handle the workers' issue, we nothing know from that. If he like the workers and he love them, if he be for a mind of from the way they tell the ministers, but from the way the ministers, they can't communicate with the workers and the kind of things where they tell them and the kind of plans where they get for them, you don't even show anything at all, say Buhari love them. But if they say so, make them, they try show them. Make Buhari, they try show them. Even this new minimum wage, the struggle. They struggle to sign them.
Now war.
You understand? So, but well, maybe get some other plans where we go, they see as time they go. But now, they had us to see them.
They say today now 100 years after the army, they struggle for jobs for the country. So the team, they say they can't give them one thing. They say this year's celebration is another 100 years of struggle for job dignity and social justice in Nigeria. That one, they bother you, Abi, how you see them?
It don't worry me much. I know, say, our workers don't they struggle for long. Yes. And their struggle, they bring results. Not be say they also struggle aimlessly. Yeah. But then they need to focus on some things. Every time they focus on some matter, they struggle and where they bring results. But waiting me at the CB they know they quickly put out, say, now this one we won't face today. Like, look housing now. The way our workers, they go rent house, they collect 30K per month, finish, you go somewhere, you want rent house, everywhere, house now 200K, 400K, you put the money, your whole salary don't finish. You go hospital, you know, all the kind of hospital where they their area, and hospital where say you go there, check you need, you don't enter Wahala. So to get better hospital now, where they won't go, you feel sick now, you go on hospital now, 300K. So if they feel put pressure, just list all these things down and say this month or this year, now healthcare we want fix. Yes. Government must fix all hospitals so that as we pay our 15K national health insurance, we know say anything will happen to us. Once we go this hospital, we know say na standard treatment. Then we go housing, say okay, we want to make sure say all these federal housing estate or state housing estate, they affordable.
Yes.
So that by the time I pay house rent of 120K, I know say I did one small self-contained where I know say everything do okay, I get water, I get everything. Then we'll talk about transportation. Look the BRT setup. You go beggar. If you go beggar like this from 7 a.m., if you stay there up to 2 hours, you never get bus. So they need to come out say these are the issues we want trash every year. They need to outline them. Say okay, 2019 we don't fight for 2018. To 19, we don't fight for minimum wage. Then 2019 to 2020, we go fight for health care. 2022, so. Now, so they're supposed they put out. So as the struggle they go continue the struggle. Even for other advanced countries, they see the struggle. But as they struggle, make sure say they plan their struggle well and make sure say they get the results where they look for. It go better for them.
International Workers' Day, where some people they call Workers' Day or Labor Day, or for some countries, May Day, now a celebration of workers all over the world where they remember the role where trade unions and other labor movements they play. Today events, they offer workers another opportunity to appreciate themselves as well as governments to call to action, make them respond to their various working needs. Our talk person, Amaka Okoye, go the rally today, and she get the report.
To mark the Workers' Day celebration, comrades from the United Labour Congress of Nigeria, other unionists, workers, and members of other action groups walked through the streets, chanting, singing in solidarity. While the day calls for celebrations, comrades explain what the day is to them and its essence and their expectations.
Year in, year out, we come together at least to reappraise how far we have, how good, how bad we have gone, and then take a new commitment, take a new mandate, to forge ahead. It wouldn't have been like this, if we were not meeting every year to ask questions. Workers come up to demonstrate, to come out with banners, to come out with placards, to raise those issues that have been silent, which the leadership may not be aware, and we normally take them up.
There are not much to be celebrated for today, but because it is a Workers' Day, and this is our day, we must embrace one another. We must interact with one another. We must rejoice with one another, despite our working in a very hardship condition. But nevertheless, we are taking advantage of today to send messages to government, to politicians, and to the lax minds of the stakeholders in Nigeria, that the workers in Nigeria that create wealth, we have some challenges, and this is our day. We want a situation whereby everybody will know that we are not leaving things unturned.
While acknowledging that all is not yet done, they express hope that workers' welfare will be completely well catered for someday.
I expect the government to give us all our rights, all the things we've been demanding for, and I expect more women to join us.
It's the day of workers all over the world, and it's the day that we want to remind ourselves, of our history, of what led to our emergence, of the reason why we are a union. We want to remind ourselves of the numerous struggles, that we have had to endure over the years. We want to remind ourselves of who we are, that we are workers, that we are under a common bond.
Indeed, the struggle continues. Nigerian workers and comrades have said they will continue to push on, to trudge on, until success and victory is won, in spite of all the challenges. From the stadium on Workers' Day, saying to you, Happy Workers' Day, I am Amaka Okoye for Plus TV Africa.
Joining us for Inside Studio to chuck more light inside the matter, we get Shola Omolayo, who will be social commentator for Inside here. Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir, you join us.
No, good evening.
So we they talk about the 30,000 naira minimum wage, but today they call today the Workers' Day, where some people they call May Day. And then it is very interesting to know, say, even Nigeria will be the giant of Africa, they celebrate them. But what do you feel, in your own opinion, be the essence of today? You feel, say, we don't shift positively from where we did last year to where we did now, this year, where we did celebrate?
Now, when I say we did celebrate, I know it's a celebration. The one when I see for television, I be say then they trek, then they walk out for road, carry placard, they talk. That will not be celebrate. If you celebrate, you go they feed, you go they play music. Then go they play Baba Fela music, Sonny Okoso, Majek Fashe. You see people, they walk out for road, like say they don't know where then they go, you say then they celebrate. So tell when I come, they talk, say 130,000 day from one place. What if people want with 30,000, say? 30,000, if you calculate, that will be 1,500 naira per day. How many workers with government they pay? One at the talk say, then they pay workers. You know people when they never employ. Some people don't come out for school, don't reach like 32 years, they never employ them. They call that one, say, they celebrate too. See, we get people where Chinese they suffer, India they suffer. Those one too now workers. Then they pay them well. Not the casual worker they be. The same labor force one at the talk. What thing they do? Then they go meet them for that place. They ask them. You they hear say fire the bomb factory. Now what are you say they pour for that place? The people where they die there, don't be Nigerians, don't be human beings, don't be parts of the worker who say when they defend. I beg you, nothing be workers they day for Nigeria. They just say I say then they do Christmas for Israel. People they work up for street. Now you see so.
But some people they look at from the point of say before now 18,000 naira be the minimum wage, and now we don't increase because all through the years, even before they increase them to 30,000 naira now, every other thing they increase. Food for markets they increase. House rent they increase.
You know, say it get as dog go see shit for house, he go they laugh. If you see that train, you go run. No, you not go know maybe they happy. I've been at the food where you see they make them happy. So this one way they see, so it pass Nigeria. They no fit talk. It don't enter their body. Make suffer head no kill us.
Amen. Some people they talk say now the real work will start on top of the implementation of this law. Now one thing for them to sign them, now one thing for the law to actually take effect, say okay, all the places where they employ people, they follow the law, they begin to pay the 30,000 naira minimum wage. And we know say states like Kogi, Benue, Ondo, Ekiti, then still they owe salaries. So how this one take work?
When I thought say now the real work start. The real work we say then like Kogi State, then they owe them like how many months? How you go take sachet, then go first pay the one where they don't owe before. Or stay where we say now like 2 months, 3 months, then they owe. Then go first pay that one. I be this increment go join that one. See, when big man they do party, waiting concern poor man, now the smile go just the hear. The real money, now them go share, and not this 30,000, where would they talk? If another word they way past this 30,000, it be like someone could talk out. For this one, nothing they happen. Because the 30,000 said, they don't spend and finish before the money come. Best way, you go pay money for electric bill, then go increase that. You know, say that in a 55 naira before, it don't enter 27 naira now if you don't know. And petrol, they don't take them from our hand. Before, no be 87 or 86 we they buy them. Now, from that amount, you jump, go enter 147 naira. What did labor do? I be they no day Nigeria at that time, they no see. What of the hospital where this poor man won't go? Where go spend that 30,000? I've been for private hospital, go carry and go. No labor anywhere. The labor way they now, it don't get sense. Then they talk from one town for Ondo. Then say the monkey way they for that Idori Hill. He know they stay in that inside bush again. No, he don't they wear suit. Now town he did now. So all this labor way then they say then they fight all their organ. They don't fight for anything. No, the labor way you go see now if you see their sunshade, you know how much then they sell them. Say na 30,000 you take buyer. Oh boy. I mean, my sister, make you just forget waiting there for labor. If another team could talk. The only person we feel they beg now. All these activists where they don't faint, maybe they feel wake up, can't save our soul again. Nigeria labor now, you know waiting there for the right for their body, save our soul workers.
But what do you feel say be the strategy the unions fit take to enforce this implementation?
That grammar too much now.
Again, it's where we fit do any.
I don't talk. I say now another group of activists go fit do this work. Not be these ones, because then they collect money. Person wey won't help you fight, they say make you pay me before I fight your enemy. How you go take fight the fight? And they themselves don't become politicians. They don't be part of these people. So nothing will happen. The only thing will happen we say, unless another group of person come, like all these activists where you don't faint as I talk, maybe they feel resurrect. Like say we just finish Easter now. Maybe that spirit of resurrection will meet some of these activists. It will make them come begin see where we're supposed to go. Why be saying that when they increase petrol, then one salary. Now only that time our own labor, they get power to fight. He knows I'll be fight for that thing. Even monkey said, he get where he go, region said go fight for granite if you see say banana on no day. Our own labor, now only salary and petrol, now in the sabi. And no be say they even get power, they gonna be like bulldog, they go shout. If no be say with the Nigeria they give support striking at times, nothing go happen.
Very correct, sir. But now we want to enter the matter of how we want to tackle the issue of the palaver we they face for inside companies of job wururu.
Job wururu go continue because the people who employ them, the way when they take employ that, now go they cause the wururu. You know, say that they cause something data inside when name of we citizen no day inside machine we go read that. If anything where human being go do, error the day. Now, when our name no day inside data, we don't even know the numbers of people where we be. How we go take down the number of people where we employ? University day anywhere, police day anywhere. Some people they do exam self inside computer. That one even pass the one way they inside class. And now these people you want to employ. How will Wuru no go day? And when you see say about 4,000 people they look for job, where we say now only 3 persons they won't collect, waiting go happen. The person where they do the interview go one go piss now. And if you go piss, then go heal her. Brother Afana, if I say you they sweat to take pure water. Person where you take pure water, where you take wash your face, carry some drink, take and put them for down. If the person is down for your child, what you go do? Even for heaven. You don't say forever, partial small day. Because God says, see, now person who be praising me, now I go see you. Now so it be. If you praise the interviewer, what will go happen? You must not get job now.
As you narrate the whole thing now, he just be me say the journey still there very, very far.
Not be say the journey they far. The journey just they go far. You say where they far, now be say you get destination. This one where they now no destination. We just they go. You know that fella song where it say we just they go. We just they go. We just they go.
In a very sorry situation. So if we not fit handle the issue of the job Uru, now be say even the matter of the ghost workers will still be like an open secret because they no say ghost workers they. But they not still do anything about what
we say they no do. The person where come house for night, you know where chair they. Now the person where they inside that darkness, I ain't gonna say, oh boy, they carry your legs small because light no day. Can't think how you know go get ghost. Ghost go day because light no day. And where light no day, demon go appear. If you take your leg hit table. Because where light no day, you go get people where now they see person where we say go do master, they ride Okada. It is in Belle Street. Not be in Belle Street. He don't start say, okay, make I do this Okada job. Some begin sell things. You understand? So when those ones where you see they hang, they sell pop-up, they sell corn, they sell bread, they do Okada job. Instead make light, they make them go face their job. If see any opportunity, go carry certificate again, waka go that side. If say they do the needful, waiting they're supposed to make this light stable. May not be saying a light where you go they think of how you go buy petrol, put for your generator before you wed that job, before you even learn something. You know how many people who don't go do some training, we get first degree, get second degree, 13 degrees a day in hand, yet he no get job. He can't go learn how to the plate head, he go learn how to the sew cloth. So they money to even buy the machine, come plug and for light, take and work. That one no day. If we not take care of these areas, nothing will happen. We go still now. Grandma go just go everywhere, and grandma sabi fly. He get wing. If he fly, go reach heaven, come back.
You really see this one talk. So what will be your final word to Nigerian workers today? Even in the middle of all this wahala where we get, where we don't tackle, what you go advise them?
What I go advise we say only say we just pray. We no get faith.
We never pray rich.
We never pray rich. All this prayer, make I tell you, and they tell some people, you know. Some people when they say then they fast, I say make you no fast, cuckoo pray. Because you where they fast, you they stay for mainland, you they come island. Waiting your eye go see, fast go throw away, fast don't go walk. So make you, the person will go come and a God. And I will go tell God. Person will never get job, make you know they thought say you won't become millionaire. Make it they thought say God, bring one man where you go change this whole thing. Because this world now about one man. Now one man they change nation, no be plenty people. If that man show up today, the way when Nigeria go take transform, you go see say now sun they shine for night. Because as I talk on before, when one lion they roar, nobody say they hungry, make it just a grieve, they shout, they holler. Every other animal go do waiting, then go they go disappear. If that one man show up today, you go see say person where they no send me go work, so if you go begin work. But when that one man never show up, now one minister go to talk say we get enough doctor. Not be part of labor be that. When Nigeria needs about 200,000 doctors, one man they tell us say now 50 we get 50,000. He say we get enough. Not be that kind of man go to tell our president say well I know that everything they okay, and the man don't know anything. Yeah, I know go there everywhere. The man not be angel. He no be God say. You understand? So the man now waiting when I tell I go here. May God save this country. When I go talk, we say, we go they talk, we go they pray. We go they talk, we go they pray. Because nothing when you feel do, gun they their hand, they talk anyhow, they shoot you.
God will really save us. Thank you so much, Sase. You join us and you take your time out to be with us this evening.
Attack Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Give me opportunity to make a talk for television. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We're going to take a small break. When we come back, the story will still continue. Not go anywhere.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show. Sudan military rulers say they're ready to negotiate with the opposition over the political future of the country, but make all Gbege stop letters by Tuesday. The Gbege say that they stop trains and bridges. Opposition groups and protesters don't they push the Transitional Military Council, TMC, make them speed up the move to civilian rule since when the army don't sack former President Omar al-Bashir on April 11. The main organizers of the protest, the Sudanese Professionals Association, don't call for civil disobedience and a general strike on Monday as meetings with the TMC don't fail to provide any results on the creation of a joint civilian military transitional council. Inside press conference on Tuesday, the military said they no go cancel the protest sit-in where they happen outside the Defense Ministry since April 6. The news will still continue after this chickeny break. Police don't arrest a suspect for the shooting where killed 2 people and 4 others wounded on Tuesday, April 30, for the University of North Carolina for Charlotte. Local media don't identify the man as 22-year-old Tristan Terrell. Official details of the shooting never clear, but campus police chief Jeff Baker talks say emergency dispatch been received call late in the afternoon about an individual armed person where he carry pistol and he can't shoot plenty students for inside the school. One gunman with them saying a student opened fire for one building for University of North Carolina Charlotte campus on Tuesday, April 30. He killed 2 people and he wounded 4 others. Governor Roy Cooper said the incident was a tragic day for the great university, the city of Charlotte, and the state of North Carolina. Local media don't identify the man as 22-year-old Tristan Terrell. Official details of the shooting never clear, but campus police chief Jeff Baker talks say emergency dispatch been received call late in the afternoon about an individual person where they armed and he carry pistol and he can't shoot plenty students for inside the school.
Tragic day at this great university, the city of Charlotte and the state of North Carolina. Here on the last day of class, just a few days to graduation. But I know the people in this community, and they will be here for each other. It's important for all of us to gather here to talk about what a great university this is and to mourn the loss of life and to pray for the people who have been injured and to try and heal and recover and do what we can to prevent this kind of violence again.
Coming up next, now Tori for Inside Business.
You global star, you local rapper, you go down low. You swag, you go blow.
Yeah, making an Afrobeat.
You bring the heat, you boom. You the coolest kid in Africa. You shocky, you dab, you hustle. You the voice of the streets. You Afrobeat.
The United Nations UN don't pledge to support the African Development Bank AFDB power project, where them called Desert to Power Initiative for Inside Africa. A statement by the Communication and External Relations Department of AFDB on Tuesday talks said the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres be make the pledge when he meets the president of the bank, Akinwumi Adesina, for New York. The Desert to Power initiative, they expected to provide electricity to 250 million people on the continent. The project, now a $10 billion initiative to build a 10 GW solar zone across the Sahel, the largest for the world, they aim to develop and provide 10 GW of solar energy by 2025. Still ahead on Top Plus TV Africa News, now a roundup for Inside Entertainment and Sports Story. We they come back. Ciara and Russell Wilson don't do career waka. The couple don't launch one production company where them call Why Not You for film, TV, and digital content. Why Not You Productions now to tell inspiring and aspiring narratives and human interest stories and go serve as outlet for Wilson innovative and creative side. Wilson and Ciara talk for one joint press statement, say while them work for different fields for their day-to-day, they make them happy to come together to collaborate and create stories where they hope say it go touch people life. They are two now storytellers, and we want to share the stories when it go carry people live, go front, and still they inspire others to create positive change. That now waiting they want make the company represent. Russell Wilson just enter news for the one way he enter where he takes sign one record-breaking contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks. This will not be the couple's first venture for entrepreneurship. Earlier this year, Ciara been launched her entertainment company and record label Beauty Marks Entertainment when they plan to align music with film, fashion, technology, and philanthropy. That now waiting we get on Top Entertainment. Coming up next, now our very best for Inside Sports Story. Where they come. Semenya don't lose the case against athletics governing body, meaning say it go allow the restriction of testosterone level in female runners. The Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, don't reject the South African challenge against the IAAF new rules. 28-year-old Semenya been say the regulations they unfair and said she won't run naturally the way we then take Bonham. Now, the Olympic, World and Commonwealth champion at 800 meters and other athletes with differences of sexual development, DSD, go need to either take medication in order to compete in track events from 400 meters to the mile or change to another distance. CAS talks say the rules for the athletes with DSD, they discriminatory, but that the discrimination they necessary, reasonable and proportionate to protect the integrity of female athletes. CAS don't ask the IAAF make them consider delay in the application of the rules to the 1,500 meters and 1 mile events until more evidence go dey available. Una do well that now the joint story we get on top this o'clock. For more better information, go follow us for Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it go make sense if you subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We go still jam later with more story where they do bagan for inside the Obodo Naija and Obodo World. Don't forget to join us. My name na Betiana Unweli. Make una get a very, very kajet day.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say!
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
and welcome to Plus Exclusive. I am Buki November. My guest today is Tonto Dike, one of Nigeria's most controversial celebrities. She's an actor, a multi-award winner, a brand ambassador, and so much more. On this episode, Tonto uncovers the truth about the identity of Mr. X, gives a detailed analysis of how she met her ex-husband, Mr. Olakunle Churchill, and the reason why she never wanted to keep the pregnancy that led to their marriage. Tonto also reveals the relationship between former President Olusegun Obasanjo, her ex-husband, Mr. Churchill, and her son, King Andre. You will also discover her struggle with domestic violence, why her marriage ended, and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, here's an exclusive, a one-of-its-kind interview with Tonto Dike. Since you came in, I've been looking at you from head to toe. Like, I can't take my eyes off you. You look so radiant.
Thank you.
I mean, have you had any work done?
On my body?
Yeah.
Obviously. Obviously.
So where exactly? Tell us.
I'm a working construction. Like apart from my face, though.
Oh.
Yes.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go straight into the gist today. Mr. X. Tell us about Mr. X. Who is he? Who was he?
Well, it's a lot of memories. Yeah, Mr. X was someone I was stupidly involved in love with. We dated for quite a while, and I mean, it's no news. I always posted things about him. Never showed his face or anything, but I just kept it coming with him. He was actually a very nice person, and for some reason we just broke up. You know, things don't last, and I was so hurt, but I just moved on. Like, I tried as much as possible to move on, and that was when I met my son's father.
How long were you with Mr. X for?
I was with Mr. X for almost 2 years.
Wow,
yes.
That's a long time.
Yes, if you follow my Instagram, you would know. I was with him for almost at least a year and a couple of months, a reasonable couple of months. It was fun. So after we broke up, then I met my son's father. I actually met him in a nightclub. Escape nightclub at the moment, my friend's nightclub. Something I really never do. I never club. I never go out. I'm such like a very reserved person. But that day, I can't remember what we're celebrating. I think I was upset because my relationship broke up. So I and a past friend of mine, we went out to celebrate. Then I met him. That's how he came into the picture. I met him that night, and the next time we saw again, I met him there. Didn't go home with him, obviously. We just met him, and we got talking again after 3 days or so. Then I was just in a very difficult position emotionally where I was lost. I needed that same energy that I lost. I had made so much noise about my Mr. X, and now he's gone. And he wasn't just gone, he went to get married to someone else. So it was very painful. So with that, I want to be very thorough, so I had everything written down and had everything documented. I met him February 13th. Then we started to talk by 16th of February. And because of how vulnerable I was, I lost my relationship. It was a relationship of a lifetime for me. And I dove into that one relationship very fast, without investigation, without knowing him. We didn't get to know ourselves, and we just jumped into it. I think I was more of broken inside, and he was more of lost. So it was just how we met.
What year? What February 14th? What year?
February 14, 2015. That's when I met him.
Okay, so what were the
February
qualities?
13th, yeah.
Okay, so what were the qualities that attracted you to him? I know you didn't start talking until some days after, but what were the things you saw and you just felt, yes, I can actually have a relationship with this person?
Well, looking back now, the only quality I saw were all the lies. I was told so many lies to make one human being look so attractive. So I think I fell in love with the lies. I think I married the lies. So that was what it was.
Okay, so let's go straight up to the wedding. How long did you date for before you got married?
We dated for 7 months before my marriage. February, and we got married in August.
Okay, so, but very quickly, lies. What lies exactly? I mean, we know we see a lot of them, but what lies exactly attracted you? What lies would you say attracted you?
Actually, the first day I met him, he told me that he was Obasanjo's son. And in the course of dating him, his mother told me she was Obasanjo's wife. So many lies. The house I used to go to in Ghana, he told me was his house. It's not like I was out there looking for an established man, but I am Tonto Dike. I'm an established woman. I have to have some sort of stability in my life. So definitely, I would originally go for someone who is made or who have prospect to be made. The house he was living in Ghana, he said it was his house. It wasn't his house. I actually have proof of that. Some few months down, I think it was last year, the owners of the house came out and called me out for not paying rent and for leaving their house in a very awkward state. This is that, and on this document is some what do they call it again? It was a message, yes,
yeah,
on my, yes, not a DM. It was an open message on my page. I posted a picture, and the person came to drop that comment, complaining that Churchill has run away from the house and did not pay his bills, and things were scattered and things were broken everywhere. And he told me he had that house. And before then, I had already found out that he wasn't the owner because this message came after we had broken up. So that was one of the lies. Even on the message, I went in the course of converting with the person. I told the person, I said, take this number and call that number. That is his mother's number. I didn't tell the person it was his mother's number. I said, call that number. It's an old woman's number. But I bet you she would tell you she does not know who Churchill is. It's all written there.
Yeah.
And she called the person, and the man called the woman. That's the London number, and the woman said, I don't know who Churchill is. Meanwhile, that is the mother's number that I know, that I speak to her with every single day since I dated her son until I got married to the son. So that was one of the lies.
Well, quickly, 2 questions. What is his relationship with Obasanjo and his mother's relationship with Obasanjo? This is my son's father,
yes, was a Liberian for Obasanjo. A Liberian for Obasanjo. His father, I heard, was a gardener for Obasanjo. And later on, he graduated to having, this is his father. Later on, he graduated to having a spiritual church of his own. That is his father. He graduated to having a spiritual church of his own, so he became more like a pastor afterwards. So the relationship is just like I have my staffs. I have staffs who have worked for me for some of them 10 years, 5 years. They feel like family to me. Sometimes they come to my house, we eat together. So that was the kind of relationship they had. Actually, he had told me so many stories of how, as a kid, how you and your father would play, how you would steal your father's land and go and sell to be stubborn, how the other siblings don't like you, just different bunch of bull. And of course, I did suspect that there was something wrong because he always said that Baba was a very tight-fisted person with money. And I mean, word have gone around that Baba does not really give money, which is Obasanjo doesn't really give money. So he wanted me to have the idea of rich kid, my father don't give me money, because while I was with him, I was still taking care of all of our bills.
Amazing.
The day I went to see Baba the first time was when he introduced himself to me as not his father. The first thing he said, this is not my son.
And
that's what the first thing Obasanjo said to me. I'm calling Obasanjo's name. I'm not going to be lying with his name.
And you met Obasanjo just before
that day? No, just that day. No, the introduction, my introduction to, I had 2 introductions, one for Obasanjo and one for my family. So the day I met Obasanjo was the day he told me. So that was like the verbal confirmation that these people were lying all along. And this is what they tell the general public. Half of Nigerians think that he's Obasanjo's son. In fact, some of them, when the light doesn't enter, they now say that he's the grandson. But my son has no blood relationship with his Obasanjo. If he did, I'll be proud. I mean, it's something, right? So, but he doesn't.
Okay, so quickly, back to the house in Ghana. How much were they asking you to pay?
They weren't asking me to pay anything because I don't know them. All they were asking is that someone come and take care of the bill.
And they didn't tell you how much it was?
I didn't care because I don't live there. I knew that before I left the house, I had my son's things there. I even asked them to give me a picture of the property because he actually said my son. He called my son's name. He said, your son's things are scattered. He even said we're dirty, we're pigs. That's the way the state of the house was. Meanwhile, I haven't been to the house in almost 8 months. So.
Okay, so on the day of the introduction to Obasanjo, why did you go ahead with it after realizing that there might be something shady going on here?
I was already pregnant. And prior to being pregnant, I had never been pregnant for 7 years. I've been in a relationship, and as a woman, it's not like I've been extremely careful. You know how we women, I've not been extremely careful, but I just never gotten pregnant for over 7 years, and he came along and I got pregnant. My pregnancy was not something I ever wanted to keep. I always say it. Before now, I said I never wanted to have children. My decision. But a friend of mine convinced me the day I found out I was pregnant, and my son's father was crying and begging me to keep that pregnancy. I didn't know why he wanted it so much more than me. That I'd be a mother. I didn't even think I'd be a good mother. But that was not the reason why I didn't want to have children. I had emotional issues, mommy issues on my own, that I didn't want to bring a child into this world without being okay with it first. So I wasn't ready, but Folake, God bless you. Thank you so much. She talked to me, she explained to me what a child coming into my life would do for me, and everything she said was true. Everything she said. And I'm so happy. That's one decision in my life that I'm so happy that I did.
I can see the joy over here. Okay, so but there's this story we saw online, of course, about you losing a 4-month-old pregnancy. How true is that?
Well, it wasn't 4 months old. Pregnancy wasn't 4 months old. It was barely, maybe 2 months. That was after King. My marriage was filled with so much lies that sometimes when he gets caught up in a lie, it results to violence. We fought all the time. Before we got married, and even after we got married, it was a fighting thing. It was, I mean, look at what we do on Instagram. It was more like that. It was more like that. I mean, it was like hell on earth in the house every single day. So domestic violence was something that was real, was always there in my relationship. I mean, there was a time in Ghana that this man literally beat me. I was bleeding. I said it before and I'm saying it again. I ran into the Nigerian embassy almost naked.
Naked, I saw.
Yes, almost naked. And I took a lawyer from Nigeria. I can't remember his name, but Mercedes. I don't know if you know Mercedes. She's actually in the industry. She's actually in management. She has a management company that manages artists and manages brands. She was managing me at that time because she was one of the people who actually sympathized with me and said they wanted to help. So we went to Ghana to find proof because the policemen that came from Ghana said otherwise. So we went to Ghana and she found out that it was true. The only reason why we don't have documents from the Nigerian embassy is because there is no record. The person who was in charge was Mr. Poco. That's how I know him. His name is Mr. Poco. Okay. I actually remember that name because I have a nickname that is Poco.
Yeah.
So yeah, his name was Mr. Poco, and he was the one that treated my case. But we did meet the lady behind the camera who took the pictures, and she told me, they said, yes, she came in bleeding, and her clothes were torn. So they confirmed it. The thing about Nigerians is that, or journalism in Nigeria is that nobody wants to investigate anything. Everybody just wants to say, oh, that's why I brought all these documents. I don't want hearsay. No, my documents are all here. So if I'm saying it and I'm proving to you that this is what happened, you know, so that's why we don't have documents from the Nigerian embassy in Ghana.
Okay, so quickly, back to the pregnancy.
Yeah.
It was while you were still married
Yes,
to him.
yes, while I was married
Under
to
what
him.
circumstances? Was it through the abuse you lost?
It was
the
true,
baby?
of course, true abuse. He pushed me down. My former house we had one staircase here, we had another one here. So I was already coming out from his room. He's like in the penthouse. So I was coming out from that place, so he pushed me. We're fighting in there. So I was trying to just leave the place so I could get myself again. Because sometimes when I'm in such a high spirit, I don't breathe. So I was trying to run out of the room, and he pushed me down. He actually used his leg to push me. So I rolled like 2 steps down. I rolled 2 steps down. He continued again. But you see, the thing is, a lot of people will say, oh, you know, domestic violence, why didn't you leave? There are too many reasons why I didn't leave. I was pregnant for this man already. I had a child for this man. And even before I married him, you know, it was something that, it's something that he would always come back to beg. In Ghana, I was literally beaten on the street to a hotel. I mean, this hotel have names. It's there. It's something that anybody can confirm. Workers saw what happened. His friends saw what happened. The police saw what happened. They were actually begging me to take the case off the police. And I said, no, I took them to police. It was not the other way. You see, when the story came out, I just get so shocked, like, what's happening? I was the one that said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to let this rest. Let's go to the police station. It was not the other way around.
Wow.
Yeah, so I lost 1 pregnancy after King, and I had gotten into 7 domestic violence fights.
Amazing.
With King's father.
Quickly, domestic violence, whatever level of it, it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Whether against women especially.
Yeah.
But then, I'd have to ask you, do you remember what led to that particular fight?
Okay.
Or what you did, or what you said, maybe something
You see, the
triggered
man
it?
I got married to is a narcissist. He's very manipulative, he's evil. He's the most evil person I've ever come across. I mean, his ex-wife will tell you that. He doesn't stay at home. He said we were married for 6 months, right? We were married for 10 months. We lived together for 10 months. I don't know where this guy's brain is. We lived together for 10 good months. Maybe 6 months because he knows that the other 4 months it was when he was getting missing. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I wouldn't see him. He would just wake up and leave. Sometimes 2 days, 3 days. I mean, the last fight, before the last fight, the last fight had been brewing. Before the last fight, he traveled with his girlfriend, the Nollywood girl. He traveled with her for over a month and almost 2 months to Europe. And meanwhile, this Europe that he's traveling to, before I met this man, he had never traveled outside this country apart from Ghana in his life. I remember when I was pregnant and I was running everywhere, helter-skelter, to look for visa for this man so he could come at least witness the birth of his child. I even had to stoop so low to go to Nollywood. And I asked the director, I said, give me an invite. Okay, they were inviting me for an event in America. I said, you know what, give me 2 invites. I want to invite my manager. I put him there shamelessly as my manager. And even when I went to the embassy, they still rejected him because I think he had a record. So somebody who, you know, this Yahoo thing is a very messy business.
Oh, true.
So they have a lot of people working for them. So they have people in embassies that will tell them, you know, you have this problem, you know what, don't apply now, or all this kind of thing. So when he checked, they said, okay, you know what, you have to travel to 1 or 2 countries before you come back to another country. That was the first time he ever went to South Africa. This guy has never left the country, never left the shores of Africa.
So now that you mentioned the staircase issue and pushing you down, I remember seeing a tweet where you posted that you didn't push his mother down the stairs. Could you please explain what happened?
You see, my son's father wanted to create a distraction from the fact that he's a very violent man. He might not physically show it in his face. I might be the one who is chatty and talky, but he sits down to plan it. I'm going to show you a lot of things that will make you understand how manipulative this man is. He sits down to plan every single move. So when the news came out of him and the actress girl being involved as boyfriend and girlfriend, he wanted a distraction to say, okay, you know what? No, that's not the reason why my marriage is breaking up, because she pushed my mother down. How in the world would you push someone's mother down? And you know, the thing is, the house, it was a new house. His mother just bought herself a house. She works in a mental home in London. The mother, Kunle's mother.
Yeah.
He works in a mental home. And she's one woman that I know that she hustles. Do you understand? So I know how many jobs she tries to keep up to be able to pay her way through life. And I know that she's a single woman. So she got herself a house, December period. That was 2016. That was a house he's lying about that he bought.
I was actually going to say that.
Because, I mean, it's okay if you buy your mother a house. I mean, I'm not, definitely, even if you ask the mother, she's going to say her son bought it for her just to cover the shame. But the house that I lived with this guy was a rented apartment. We rented, I mean, the whole, what they call that thing again, service apartments, fully furnished. The only thing we brought into that home was pillow. Just pillows and dining table. That's what the house didn't have. The house had up to flowers. It was fully furnished. I think the name of the owner was Alhaji Mustafa. I also have proof of that the house was actually rented, not bought. We rented that house for 18 million. That was the house he said he bought.
That's 18 million per annum. 18
million, no, for 2 years. We rented for 2 years, yeah. It was a 2 years rent. We rented it for 2 years. So when he said that, I took away things from the house. I had trailer load of things, and I packed away things. I don't understand. The estate we're living in is Brains and Hammers. Brains and Hammers is actually the biggest estate in Nigeria at the moment. They have records of everything in the world that concerns them. If you rent a property, before you, in fact, the trailer that I used in packing out of my home, of the home, was actually sat outside for, it sat outside for almost 3 days because they had to go around the house and investigate that nothing was missing before they could let me go. Now, this is the agents, these are the documents, these are conversations between I and the agents who rented us the house we lived in, that he said that he bought and kept me and his son in it. Those are the documents when I was telling the guy about things that were not right in the house,
yeah, I see
how
that.
much we paid and everything. So you see, so when he says that he bought his mother a house, I mean, I'm not the devil. My son one day will want to buy me a house. I'm not going to say, but don't lie about it. At some point you will. God will bless you to that extent, but don't lie about it. Nah. His mother bought herself a house.
And this agent's name is Richard, yeah?
Yes, that's the guy's name, Richard.
Yeah.
The estate is Brains and Hammers Estate. I lived in number 13 Kingsway. I can remember it because it's my son's name. 13 Kingsway Street, Brains and Hammers, Life Camp. And my agent was Junior. And my landlord was Alhaji Mustafa.
Okay, so back to that day at his mother's house. Because what we see online, of course, or what he said in interviews or during interviews, is the fact that he bought the house for his mother. You came into the house and you started breaking things.
That's not true. I lived in that house. We came from Lagos. It was a trip of my mother just bought a house. Let's go and help her set the house in order so that we can, so that when she comes, she can meet her house in order. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's go. We went to, I was living in the house. I stayed in the house for over a week.
This house is in Lagos?
Of course, that house is in Lagos. It's behind Spa. It's not in an estate. It's one of those
houses.
Yeah, along the slums, yeah. So I was there for over a week, arranging this place before that last fight. So there was no way. I mean, you see, even on my conversation with Azuka, the lady he bribed, there's the, what's her name? Azuka, what's her name? Yeah, Media Room Hub, the girl, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was bribed by him, by the way.
Oh, I saw the interview.
Yeah, before that, I told her, I said, you know what? Why is Chochi trying to explain too much? If I was a man and a woman tells me that you hit me, And I have cameras at every angle of my house. I will bring those pictures out. Sure. I would let the world know what a monster this girl is. This that you hid the footage from the CCTV camera. You didn't want to release it because you know how much you beat me on that footage. Even your mother was holding you. The mother fell. I know I saw the mother fell. Okay. But she was holding her son, trying to drag her son. The brother was trying to hold me. So the son did like that.
Oh, and that was
and
when
the mother
she fell.
And he now said, "Oh, you fell, my mother." And he just on my face. And his brother held me this way. Even on the interview, the brother would tell you that I beat him. If he wasn't holding me that way, there was no way for me to have beaten him here. It was a self-defense thing. The mother was there, the brother was there. Even an ex-friend of mine was there. I was beaten from upstairs to downstairs. I'm a very strong woman.
The conversation is not over. On the next episode, Tonto Dike reveals how she discovered her ex-husband was involved in Yahoo Yahoo, her relationship with Mr. Churchill's ex-wife, and so much more. Tune in this Saturday from 1:30 p.m. to watch this Plus TV Africa exclusive. My name is Buki November. See you on the next episode.
I lost money marrying him. I lost money feeding him. I lost money clothing him. I was so stupid. The whole time when we were dating, he was broke. He never told me he did Yahoo. So there was no way I would stoop low to marry a fraud person, a Yahoo boy. When Churchill said that my marriage was actually like a script, he was not lying.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, Abi?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
You're watching Plus TV Africa, and this is Tea Time. I loved the energy when I came in here. It was so positive. I was like, I can live here.
My real names are Akbofio Kubo, Akbolubo Memere.
I think my father is a comedian because most times when he calls me, he's like, yo, make sure you use condom, you know, them girls out there.
So are you telling me I should have shot my shots?
Ife, you have a younger brother.
Age is nothing but a number. What? I'm a vampire.
I believe in equal rights for women, and I also believe that a man is the head of the house, so we need to draw our limits somewhere.
It feels so good. Now can I do my jam now?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Hello, many thanks for joining us in News on the Hour and Plus TV Africa. I'm David Alabi, and here are the stories making the headlines. Now we begin with news across Nigeria. Labour matters first. Chris Ngige, Nigeria's Minister of Labour and Employment, says President Muhammadu Buhari is the country's most labour-friendly president. He made this known in a statement issued on Tuesday to mark the 2019 Workers' Day celebration. According to Ngige, the president is determined to create an economy that would bring sustainable abundance to the people. This year's event tagged another 100 years of struggle for jobs, dignity and social justice in Nigeria manifest eventfully in its coincidence with the centenary celebrations of the International Labour Organization, which Nigeria pioneered as the first country office in Africa 60 years ago in Lagos. And now President Muhammadu Buhari is also urged to do more in improving the welfare and ultimately the standard of living of Nigerian workers. Earlier, we were joined by Debo Adeniro, the Executive Chairman, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders. And this is what he had to say discussing the plight of Nigerian workers.
Well, thank you very much. For so long, we've been believing that Nigerian workers don't have causes to celebrate. But this year, I believe they have a lot of cause to celebrate. I believe that Buhari could go down the history lane as the most friendly, labor-friendly president that we've got in recent times.
Oh, you actually agree that...
I agree with it. That's what I said. Because if you remember when he came in, many governors, about 30 of them were actually owing salary. Even federal government was owing, but he gave governors, or most of the states, lifeline with a view to ensuring that workers were paid. If he was not worker-friendly, he wouldn't have done that. Now, when he wanted to give them the second tranche of the Paris Club, kind of a lifeline, he actually made it as one of the conditions that he will monitor the payment of salaries of workers. That is a way to be labor-friendly. But what I want to urge, I have also been labor-friendly for more than 30 years, but I cannot continue to support labor blindly. There are a few things that Labour ought to have done differently.
Now, before we go to Labour, you said something that I want to take you back on. You said Buhari is a friendly, Labour-friendly president, and one of the reasons for the Paris Club refund was to ensure salaries are paid. Exactly. You and I both know that some states did not keep up to this, and it didn't seem like the presidency did something about it.
Well, there is little the president could do about it because every state is semi-independent. He could only say, I want to give this lifeline. It is left for the governors to apply it judiciously the way it was outlined. That was when the second tranche was not released immediately to those governors that didn't apply it, the way it was planned. When they didn't apply the first tranche the way it should be. So he doesn't have absolute control over the states, but he has absolute control over the federation account from where the money could be drawn, and that was what he exercised. And if you discovered, almost all states of the federation have paid the backlog of salary arrears, and those that have not paid, they have different reasons for not paying. And of course, he could not punish any state. He cannot remove any state governor. He cannot, but he can withhold some of their allocations if they refuse to apply the money, according to the plans. However, if he does that again, he will be termed a dictator. Maybe that is the reason why I didn't punish them by withholding their monthly allocation. So basically, he has done his own best, because even the federal government was owing before he came. Owing his workers, but he kind of obliterates all the outstanding payments.
Okay, just before I interrupted you, wanted to talk about Labour's role in workers' welfare.
Yes, I want Nigerians to know that there's hardly anything that any government can do successfully without the labor force. It is the same set of people that are called the labor force that are working in the public and the private sector. They were the one collecting the revenue. They were the one releasing the monthly allocation. They were the one doing the accounting. They were the one providing the services. What are they doing with the money? Now, if they knew how much they got, from the revenue mobilization they have done, they should be able to advise government appropriately. But what we have is that they advise various political leaders inappropriately. It is still the same labor people that will not fix the road properly when they are supposed to fix it. It is the same people within the labor force that will clear contractors who have done a shoddy job for the government. It is the same labor force that will release the money to a wrong pocket to be applied for, personal uses. It is they that collect what you call kickback. They are the ones who overbloat, vouchers and all of that. So if labor had looked inwards and maybe sanitize its own ranks and files, ensuring that there is a kind of control mechanism that will not allow the labor force to get involved in all these corrupt practices. Definitely, the money that belongs to Nigeria will go to Nigerians. But when you want to launder the money, they know how to bring out, vouchers. They know how to do all of this.
Allegations you're making.
It is not allegation. If no political leader, in fact, most of the political leaders don't sign checks. Governors, president, they don't sign checks.
Yeah, because we're working with limited time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I will have to interrupt.
So I just want laborers to do their own internal reorientation so that they will also serve the interests of ordinary Nigerian people who are not in public service, who are not civil servants, who are not directly in the real sector of the economy, but they are petty traders, those who don't have direct access to national covers.
Okay, we have a new minimum wage of 30,000 naira. Do you think it will meet government's aim, the purpose for which it is intended, or government should do more, increase salaries?
No, I mean, we've gotten up to 30,000 naira is a good deal with government. What we need to do is to implore all those responsible for payment to ensure that they implement it across board, in